People, people, people. We're live. We are the People's Debate. Tonight, we're talking football and salutations to everybody that's out there. Of course, all glory to the Most High, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And another day, another Wednesday, another show.
Another quarter.
Yeah, I'm thankful. Well, I hope not. I'm thankful to be here with you fellas. I'm thankful to see you two fellas. And I'm thankful that we have the opportunity to go ahead and talk about some NFL offseason grades. Everybody that's here now, everybody that will be here later, everybody that watches this back, much love and appreciation to you. Make sure you like and subscribe because otherwise I will be sad. So please share, like, and subscribe to the People's Debate. Please. You can get football talk. You can get the ninth inning stretch as far as baseball talk. You could get bell to bell with the live Poodle Pinche Sports. You could get a lot of different things under the People's Debate. So please, Lord God, please follow, subscribe, please. But
come on
I'm
down.
your host. I'm sorry. Yeah, please. I thank y'all for being here. Y'all are here on time. Y'all are here, I think, earlier than me anyway. Fellas, how are we doing?
Shoot, doing good, man. It's almost that 3-day weekend, which we're all been clamoring for a little bit. Memorial Day weekend, kick off the summer, baby.
Cody, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. Ready for this week to be over. I'm almost off here in like 2 days, so I can't wait for that.
Right on. You got any special plans for the off? Like, you got one specific day that you're like, I'm gonna do this, or just
now that you say that, I haven't gone out really much at all since I've been here. Maybe I'll go to the beach or something this weekend.
very dope. Oh yeah, in Cali, dude. Yeah, for sure. Take advantage. I'm pretty sure everything that you said negatively is true, but I'm pretty sure the beaches are pretty great. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, so but you'll know. You let me know. But Chase, I saw you in the comments, brother. Thank you for being here, dude. We are going to be grading off seasons as a whole in a couple of minutes after news with Joe, our sports mailman. And of course, we'll be talking about the Cowboys, Chase. So stick around or come back in like 20 minutes and we'll be right into off-season grades. Y'all got any news, any updates, any special encounters throughout the week?
Shoot, throughout the week, nah, man, it's just itching closer and closer to this NFL season. Like, it feels so far away, but it feels like it's almost in like the distance. You can see it like there.
Yeah, anytime I see the amount of time till kickoff, yeah, it is a lot of time, dude. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I get it. Yeah, after a couple of shows, it'll get closer and closer. But yeah, it's pretty far. September's pretty far.
It's pretty far.
It's pretty freaking far.
Hey, but then we blink and boom. Like, it just felt like this yesterday. It was a Super Bowl of the Eagles destroying the Chiefs, and now boom.
Really? All right, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Other than coma, so nobody wants to get in a coma and then NFL season's on. Or do you? That's a good debate question. All right. Well, Joe, please give us some news, please.
So some breaking news came today. So the NFL is going to be allowing their players to compete in the flag football part that's now a part of the Olympics in 2020 in LA. So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys actually play flag football, if they kind of say, you know what, I don't want to get hurt, bro, and kind of relax with that. It's going to be interesting.
Do you like that? Do you like that they're bringing that to the Olympics?
It's cool, but I just don't know, is it worth it to them? Because this is the first year, and there's never been like, oh, well, we need to go compete for our country type thing. So, and these guys are getting paid millions on millions. I don't know if their franchises are going to be like, you know what? Yeah, go ahead, bro. You can get hurt, tear an ACL or something.
I think I asked you as well for your opinion, Cody. I think they're I understand what they're doing. You know how you're seeing a lot of the big names on like, oh, this is going to be part of the team. You could get not great names to play some of these other countries that are fast, agile. You don't have to be great at NFL football to play flag football. So I
Yeah,
think they'll.
like a guy I think it would be perfect for flag football, and this is me, is Bryce Young for some reason. I don't know why I thought of the flag football team because he's smaller.
Please. Yeah, I'm with Cody. That reaction. Tell me what makes you confident in
I
Bryce
don't
Young.
know why, bro. I just thought like, oh, he's smaller. He's not like whenever they're trying to get his flag. I was like, oh, maybe that could be helpful. I don't know.
Well, I just bring Kyler Murray a better version. So, you know what I
Okay,
mean?
well then Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
Then yeah,
I get it. I like it. I like
I,
it.
I was thinking like guys in that realm. I just this morning
Small.
whenever I saw it, I was like a
Mhm.
smaller quarterback, and then of course I think Kyler would be the perfect quarterback possibly.
You're gonna have to pay him a little bit more. He'll do it. I know he'll do it. Or you give him another sponsorship on a gaming thing.
Yeah.
He'll do it, dude. He'll do it. How do you feel about it, Cody? You like it? Love it? Hate it?
I don't mind it. I mean, it'll be just another showing, that American athletes are far superior to, the rest of the world athletes as far as this. If anybody tries to guard and chase down Lamar Jackson, they're literally going to get broken to pieces on flag football. It'll be Lamar Jackson versus everybody. He doesn't even need receivers, nothing. I mean, just him coming downhill. Who's stopping that? Who's grabbing that flag? I ain't, because I'm gonna break my ankles. You know what I mean?
It's you're right, especially with other sports. NBA, there's a lot of non-American stars. In other sports, track and field, of course, a lot of different ones. There's non-American great athletes. In football, I mean, there's probably a handful, right? So I wouldn't
Very rare.
understand. Yeah, that you get a Slovakian
Like
quarterback. What
like
are we doing
the
here?
only non the
No
only
offense.
non American that I know right now is Chuba Hubbard probably because he's
What is
Canadian.
that? What is it? Ah, well, yeah. I guess there's Canada. All right. Well, yeah. I'm trying to think actually.
I mean, what, you gotta bring Usain Bolt back? I mean, you know what I mean? That's
That'll
about, there's a few.
that'll bring eyes. That'll bring viewership.
Yeah,
You just
there's
say,
one-offs that happen around the world, but
Yeah,
overall, the consistency that America will bring if this really happened and put NFL athletes in the Olympics, I mean, it'd be a mess.
I feel
right.
like the first one would be cool, but then after that, you'll kind of lose its luster. You know what I mean?
Mm. It'll
Yeah,
lose it fast.
possibly. Yeah. Just competition wise, I don't see it. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'll watch it and we'll see.
I'll watch
Right.
it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Y'all ever
move.
played flag football
Yeah.
growing
I have,
up?
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah, flag football sucks though, right?
Well, it's yeah, it doesn't mean the best player is the best at flag football. No.
Yeah.
No. Some guys are just, I could be faster than somebody, they just get my flag. I don't know. It's a weird, it's different. So that's why I say interesting. It's the perfect word for that.
Yeah, no. But moving on, we do know who's going to be our Hard Knocks training camp team for this upcoming season. It will be the Buffalo Bills. So it's going to
Okay.
be the Josh Allen show probably the whole time, him and his girlfriend getting engaged and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see. I thought I saw somewhere where they weren't wanting playoff teams, but maybe I'm reading too much into that because the past couple
Ah,
seasons I haven't seen the
maybe
playoff
that's a
team.
sign, fellas. Buffalo Bills falling off a cliff. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but
Thanks
it
for
should be
sharing.
interesting. The hopefully they play on to the fan base how crazy they are. Hopefully they're like showing them like at training camp jumping in tables or something.
Yeah. Bills Mafia should be on TV so they could see that they're not actual human beings. Just
No,
Neanderthals
they're
everywhere.
wild, bro. But I love the enthusiasm though that they bring.
Oh, do you? I think it's absolutely disgusting.
I
But go
wonder
ahead.
why now.
Yeah,
You
but go
probably
ahead.
didn't mind it back then. Now you're like, you know what? I don't like
Back
it
then it was
anymore.
funny. Now it's just it's one of those where they're the same, but they think they're just fantastic, which they have been better than everybody in the AFC East, but that's not saying much as of the last couple of years. And they still haven't won the big game. So they
I
absolutely
mean,
suck.
yeah, if for what their franchise been through, you got to give some love to their fans.
Right on. Yeah, all right. All
It's
right.
like Browns fans for being that passionate and sucking that bad for so long. Like that deserves a trophy.
So,
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
so before all this, before I keep going on this news, there's actually some breaking news that broke not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little bit of a somber moment. I feel like rest in
Come
peace
on,
to
Joe.
Colts,
Jeez.
the Colts owner Jim Irsay, who they just said passed away within the
Yeah.
last hour.
Yeah.
So it,
They were dogging him in the comments already.
Really?
Yeah, they're like he probably was drunk and shit, because
I
yeah.
get it. Come on. That's the thing. Social media, yo, is crazy. It's like,
yeah, and then shout out to Brandon because he was the one who posted it. So then I went and looked on my phone to see if it was true or not.
try to hype up the pat. Ah, put up the next one, Joe.
Yeah.
So we're bump off first say the Raven. Yep, Knicks tape. Knicks in 5. Hey,
Yeah, so right
He
now
messes with the
it's
Pacers.
actually it's a close game right
oh,
now. Knicks
Indiana,
are up,
Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
yeah, the Knicks are up 7 right now. 5 minutes left to go in the second quarter right now. But
It's better for other teams if they take the lead, but if they don't, well, I mean, we come back from 20-point deficit. So,
yeah, so
hey,
he is one of the most colorful owners that we've seen in the past 30ish years since he's taken over for his family. Hopefully, the Ursay family's in good spirits. Hopefully, it wasn't like something certain, like sudden, like all out of nowhere. But rest in peace, man.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but moving on, man. We actually know who's gonna be the in-season Hard Knocks team. It's not actually the team they've been doing it by division, and honestly, one of the best divisions is all of football. The NFC East will be the in-season Hard Knocks this season. So to see all 4 teams is gonna be funny. It's gonna be
Oh man,
Wasn't
comical.
y'all
hey,
just it last year though? The Giants?
The Giants, yeah, or like
I
2 years
mean,
ago.
damn. They
2
just
years
might
ago.
as well be called NFC East Hard Knocks, you know what I mean?
It was just the Giants that year, and this year I think that's dope because I mean George Pickens is over there. That's gonna be funny.
Yeah,
I'll take
and
it.
then
You just want to see his demise.
I just want to not demise. I want to see him, even if it's good for the Cowboys. I want to see him
yeah, because
show that
I don't know if
spirit that he
y'all
has.
saw it. They were at Kyler Murray's like softball All-Star game or something,
Yeah,
and the media was like asking, "Oh, who's number one?" or something.
yo, loved
He's
his
like,
answer.
"Oh,"
Perfect
and
answer.
they're like, "1A, 1A, we both ones." Like I liked it. I was kind of surprised. CD was the one that was leading the charge. I was like, "Is this really CD
Oh
right
no,
here?"
of course. Though I mean, that's the funny part. He's the mature one in that group,
Yeah,
so
but
that's going to be interesting to watch as the season pans out. If it's all roses, it'll be great for y'all. If it's not, well, I mean, I want to see them ask that later.
no, yeah, for sure.
Go ahead,
So
put Brandon.
check out this comment, Brandon, with the comments, man. Appreciate you, Brandon. Share the link to the live. Let everybody know what we're doing out here, man. Every Wednesday night.
Thank you, bro. You know why Buffalo doesn't have an NBA team? Because they won't let them play outdoors in the snow. Well, Buffalo, just in general, sucks. All right,
I
go
was
ahead.
just about to say that, yeah.
Move
Yeah.
on.
Move on. But moving on, man. The tush push is here to stay. It didn't get the votes needed,
You're welcome.
so that
You're
play
welcome.
will stay. Regardless of how you feel about it, man. The Eagles learned how to do it and perfect it. Until you learn how to stop it, they'll just continue to do it, man.
You're welcome.
Hate what you.
All Eagle fans, you're welcome. Patriots were part of it. Texans. Wait, Texans were against it, right? They were gonna ban it. They were gonna ban
Yeah,
it.
look, I could pull it up.
Yeah, please, because I thought D'Amico said something like he was defending it, but maybe it's not a D'Amico call. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think head coaches vote. I doubt it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I believe that. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, the teams against the ban: Cleveland, Tennessee, Miami, New England, the Saints, 49ers, Jaguars, Ravens, Jets, and Lions.
They said Kelsey was up there preaching why it shouldn't get banned to everybody.
Travis?
No.
Jason?
Yeah. No,
Well,
yeah, right.
Yeah, Jason.
Yeah.
He's biased. I don't care what he has to say.
I know, but he was up there. He was like leading the charge why it shouldn't get banned.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
okay.
the way they were making it seem, it looked like it was gonna be a banned play, and I was kind of surprised it was that close of a vote, 22-10. That was kind of crazy to see that close for it being banned.
They needed 2 more, but Patriots, we looked out. I mean, you're welcome, guys. I would have just voted against it just because, I mean, they snubbed us for a Super Bowl. So, but whatever. I'm glad we don't take it to heart. Hold on. Brandon, it's owners voting. Texans owner is kind of a aloof bandwagon dude. Do you agree with that?
What does that mean, aloof?
He's just dumb.
Well,
I mean, he's all right. He's
the
not
bandwagon guy.
He's not. I'm not gonna act like he's the smartest owner, but I mean, at least he's a passionate owner. I don't got a fucking retarded owner that leads the team like he's
Wow. This comment is actually, it's funny, but a little too soon, Brandon. You got a good sense of humor, brother. I love it. Wait, did Ursay vote, then die in trying to rig the vote? Yeah. Colts either way.
He died before the vote.
Yeah. Yeah,
right.
for a ban, so he voted for it.
Let's move on.
He submitted and tapped out.
So shout out to the number 1 pick from this past year's NFL draft. Cam Ward negotiated his contract on his own dime, did it all by himself, got a fully guaranteed contract, 4 years, $48 million. Salute to that boy, bro. Salute to not even have to get an agent. Like, you know what? It's my money. I'm keeping my money. I ain't splitting it with nobody like that.
Take notes, Shador.
It's fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed. 4 years.
So he could just drop the ball and walk away right now, right? $50 million in his pocket.
Well, if he was one of those guys. Yeah,
well,
sure.
I'm pretty sure though that he has to play. I think
there might be something, in the contract that you have to play X amount, possibly.
Yeah,
that's
to
crazy,
get all of it. I'm pretty sure he'll get something, but not all of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, but moving on, the NFL is going to introduce a new award this upcoming season, Protector of the Year for the best offensive lineman this upcoming season. I'm happy, bro. I'm happy the linemen are finally going to get some love. You know how I've been the past couple of years with some linemen, how I've been key on them. Like, they are the key to success for some of these teams, and you could see whenever they go out the difference that teams look whenever they're not in the lineup.
100%. This is well warranted.
Good idea.
Yep.
Oh yeah, for sure. But now it's gonna be like they're gonna be like, well, the best defensive lineman, best. Like, I wonder if they're gonna start doing by position groups now.
No, well, defensive lineman, you want to win something, get defensive player of the year.
Yeah, no, true.
Offensive lineman can't get offensive player of the year, even if it's true, which is normally not, but it kind of.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. No, which is key, but it's just, I like it. Hopefully, it just shows light to different positions, like in the future, possibly.
Fair.
Yeah. And then, so this thing, it was crazy that I think the Detroit Lions were trying to push this. They were trying to redo the seedings for the playoffs. So just because you're a division winner, they were trying to say that you would not automatically get a home playoff game in the first round. But unfortunately, they pulled that bid for some reason. I'm like, I don't know why you're pushing so hard for it, and you pull off from it. But it's kind of sad because I want to see the best teams get the best seeding. I don't want to just see the NFC South win 9 games and then they get an automatic playoff game, like home playoff. I don't want to see that no more. I'm like, all these teams have private jets and stuff. It's not like the time difference is like that big of a key anymore. So hopefully down the line, the NFL can figure this out where it's like yeah, they'll still make the playoffs, of course, but they just won't get an automatic home playoff game anymore.
Yeah, I thought they should have continued to push because I think, just because you win a division, you don't deserve a home game. That's just me.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and that was it, man, for the news that I was able to runge up.
Cool. I'm opposite of y'all on that.
Talk to us, please.
I like the division winner. If you win your division, you deserve a playoff spot. Home field.
Why home field? The playoff spot, I agree.
Well, because if you're bad, then you're going to be the worst seed. So after that first round, then you won't be home field anyway. So you know what I mean? Unless a bad team goes further or whatnot. But I feel like you should deserve one of those top 4 spots, even if you have a worse record than the 5th seed.
Really? Ah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But why? Just because when some teams go in and they 8-9 and they play let's say a 12-5 team, or a 12 and 12-5, 10-7, 11-6, 12-5 team. The 12-5 team is the team that deserves home field because they won more games. They played better in the entire season. I agree. The division, don't get me wrong, the division winner should make the playoffs 100%. But to be home, you didn't deserve that. Your division sucked. The only reason why you're there. But you
Yeah.
get to be in the playoffs because your division sucked and you won it. Fair. But to be
once
a home,
once they move up to what y'all like, the next step is going to be what the NBA is at, where we should just take conference out of the playoffs and just seed 1 through 16, who's the best from there. So then now you won't have AFC, NFC no more. You see what I mean? That's going to be the next step, because it'll slowly go in that direction, just like the NBA, because the NBA is already at what the NFL is trying, or what they were pushing for. You see what I mean? Where no matter what you are in the division in your conference, you get seeded on record. And they're already looking at screw conferences, just seed 1 through 16 on record.
Yeah, I just see it like last year, like how the Vikings, I think they were like 13-4, and they had to play the Rams, even though the Rams beat them. But that's a different story. I feel like the NFL kind of rigged that a little bit. But I just see it like, just because the NFC South has been kind of like in the middle of the pack for years, where they barely win 9-ish games, shouldn't automatically get rewarded. That's just me.
okay, I see y'all's points, Brandon and Jose, especially Brandon's last one. Put that up there real quick.
Yeah, those are good.
If the 5th seed is that much better than them, they should win anyway. I agree.
Right.
I agree. That's that kind of yeah. That's fair. That's where I won't die. I won't just die on that hill. It's
Yeah.
just I don't get why a team, just because your division's bad, now you get a home playoff game against a team that's
It's
had a
tradition.
great year. Yeah, well, I'm not mad at that. Those are good points. That's fair.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at it. Go ahead.
Should they just go ahead and then add like one more team to the playoffs to each side and screw the first week bye?
They won't do that, but
Yeah, no.
I would like it as a fan. I'm more.
That would be,
yeah,
you know what I
but
mean? Then
they're
you
not
could
gonna-
really do a fair 1 through 8. I'd be more down with that. But the way it's set up with the number 1 seed gets the bye,
Cool. Fair enough. Okay. But I don't think they'll do it. But I
No.
see your point. Though. Okay. Let's see. You could put that off the screen, Joe. Let's see. Okay. So, hot appetizers, a new segment that I wanted to start doing with the fellas and doing with y'all people that are watching. So please engage with us as we do this. Now, hot appetizers tonight. I want to talk about this Caitlin Clark, because it's off the rails. So Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I want to talk about this because it made another controversial or a headline
I don't
or
even know how I
a
got to
thing
that
that
point.
went viral and all of that. Well, I think after I saw Ryan Clark's last response, this has been brewing. Like they've
Yeah.
been having some kind of back and forth. But anyways, with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, because of what transpired on the court, where Caitlin Clark saw that her teammate obviously got pushed, should have been a foul. She looks at the ref. You're not going to call that? Okay, well, I'm not going to let her get an open bucket. Fouls her. And then Angel Reese, of course, overreacts and pretends like, she's, or maybe she would have done something. Who knows? I don't know. And then that's stirred everything up. Everything became controversial and all of that kind of stuff. Now, is it warranted? I don't think so. It was just a foul. It was a simple foul. In the NBA, that stuff happens. Now it's weird because they're flagrants. Again, another reason I'm a casual NBA fan now. But with that being said, a lot of media, like we were talking off air, have made this into a bigger thing where now let's bring back race. Let's bring back black versus white. Let's bring back all of these different divisional tactics of media, and everybody's just falling right into it. Um, the question that I got is, one, do you understand the controversy? One, because I don't. Two, is it worth the controversy that it's afterwards started giving more seeds and fruit for the Ryan Clark RG3 controversy thing? What are y'all's thoughts on this whole thing? Because with the Ryan, when it trickled into what Ryan Clark said about RG3, I thought RG3's take was fine. Ryan Clark didn't argue the point that RG3 made. You could say whatever you want about RG3.
Can you try to elaborate on, because I still haven't seen that, the best verbatim of what happened between the Ryan Clark RG3 thing?
Well,
Yeah,
RG3, go ahead.
No, Ryan Clark, like they were going back and forth about it. Was it a hard foul? Was it race bait kind of thing? And then Ryan Clark started calling out RG3's wife and kids, and RG3 was like, "Bro, like if you want to talk to me, just talk to me like a man. You don't have to bring my wife and kid into this." And it spurred a whole nother thing that wasn't even about the original thing about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese about a hard foul. It just went crazy.
Yeah, like RG3 made a point, and you could look into the point. You could disagree with the point. Like you said, disagree with the point. When it comes to debate, here's a nice little lesson for everybody. If I'm making a point and Joe or Cody attacks my personal life, that's called an ad hominem fallacy. That has nothing to do with my point. That has nothing to do with the argument, nothing to do with the claim that I have to make. But now you're just attacking either my character or, oh, you don't understand because you have a white wife, or you don't understand. Like, let's say we're talking about some kind of racial thing, and I tell Joe, you don't understand because you're not African American, you're not black. That has nothing to do with an argument, but it's a lazy kind of argument. And what Ryan Clark said afterwards, again, it put it more perspective for me where I'm like, okay, maybe this is something else. I disagree with him, but maybe it's something else. It seems like they've had some fallout. He said he carried RG3 through Monday Night Football. I never really liked RG3's takes.
Oh, so it's gotten to that now?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it was something deeper anyway.
Right, yeah, that sounds
so
like
now,
personal, yeah.
Right. So now it's just something different, and I really don't care for it because it's like, okay, well, y'all got beef. I don't really care about any of this because, again, initially RG3 made a point. I agreed with it. Ryan Clark disagreed with it, but instead of attacking the point, he went for, well, you don't understand what black women go through. You don't understand what black women go through.
That's crazy.
Because even though he has a sister,
his mom isn't black.
But again, that's why I disagree vehemently, and it's not a good. You're on television, you get paid for opinion. So he should be, I'm pretty sure he does, study debate, study critical thinking, study tactics, all of these different things, and you go that route. Very weird.
Yeah, no, I used to really like Ryan Clark, especially him, like when we were doing the pivot stuff. Right. And I don't know where he changed, bro. It seems like now he's like the whole Shador thing that, just because he's black, that's why he's getting looked at like that. I'm just like, bro, like.
Well, Cody announced, Cody said it off air, and that's you're nailing it especially with Ryan Clark. This kind of stuff sells, and he knows that. He knows that. And I don't agree with it. I think it's lazy. I think it's divisive. I think with him, he's very hypocritical because I believe one of his children are half white. So I think it's just it's a stupid.
I mean, think of it in this perspective. If Ryan Clark didn't say something about racist like that to RG3, we wouldn't even be talking about their opinions of the Caitlin Clark situation. So
he knows what he's doing. Right. Yeah. I agree, dude. And I appreciate it, Chase. This kind of stuff really irritates me. As a white mom, I have a white mom, I have a black dad. When I hear race bait stuff that absolutely just is fallacious in its entirety, pisses me off. Doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Stupid.
Who's that? Who's the big fat dude that does the football that he does the race baiting so much, and he
Jason Whitlock, bro.
Whitlock, yeah,
He does
bro.
like the opposite though. He's like the opposite of Ryan Clark.
Right,
They've
but
always,
he still
But
I
race
agree.
yeah,
baits
I agree. I
crazy.
agree. I agree. I think they're both on opposites, but I don't understand. Anytime I
But
see a clip that strictly says white this or a black this, I'm like, I get what you're doing, and I don't respect it.
Ryan
Stupid.
Clark never used to be like that, though.
That's my
I
thing.
never,
That's why
yeah,
I agree with Joe. I used to love Ryan Clark. He was a smart brother. That's why I think he's purposely doing this, because I don't think he's stupid or he's
he probably like honestly, like I don't want to put words into his mouth or what, but to me, it almost seems like he's jealous of Stephen A. The way Stephen A. be running around acting all crazy, and he's on ESPN too. He's like, oh well, maybe if I act like this, I'll get more prominent roles on ESPN. And you see him though all over the place on ESPN. Like he does like the thing. Like I don't know if you watch the facility that on Fox, and they were talking about football. All the football guys, I mean basketball, and Katie put a tweet out like, "Oh, football guys talking about basketball is crazy to me." So it's just
that's a fallacious. That's a appeal to authority. Like, oh, because I'm not this, I can't talk about it. It's
yeah.
stupid. You're not attacking any argument. But yeah,
y'all think it's my. I've thought about this. Maybe the WNBA knows. They don't make money. They take from the NBA's budget every year. Maybe they're like scratch actual competitive
But
basketball. We're just gonna sell this story for a few years. We're gonna double and triple our watcher and viewership each year, bring more income, and then this is going to kick off the league for them. I
yeah,
think that's maybe what they're doing, because a lot of the stuff like that on the court, Angel Reese has been playing basketball 10 years plus, whatever. She knows that was no serious personal foul, right? So I think it almost looks staged, doesn't it? It almost looks like a load of bullshit.
well,
well, it
with
is.
her, I feel like she looks at Caitlin Clark and she's disgusted by her in a way because, well, that should be me. Why isn't it me in this role?
Yeah.
Type of thing. And since she's in the media, a lot of people put a lot of stuff in her head. Well, you're just as good as her. She's like,
Oh my
you're not
gosh,
that
dude.
great.
When
And I'm just
she's
like,
on, when she's on podcasts and people are the ways they talk to her, that's why I don't watch a lot of podcasts.
and I'm
Because
just like,
it's just absolutely crazy.
I'm like, Caitlin Clark's having them the whole WNBA fly private. They're usually flying Southwest regular airlines before with regular people on planes. So it's just uh, she has brought a lot of like she literally sold out her college arena for a preseason game. That is like I think they said it was a top 5 most attended game possibly in the WNBA history for a preseason game against the Brazilian national team, and that game sold out like in 10 minutes.
Mhm. Yeah. If you got a chance, Joe, put Jose's comment out there. WNBA is promoting the rivalry, knowing very well the media eats it up and showcases their product on sports shows. 100%.
Right.
Yeah, like
Rivalry sells, beef sells, and then race beef sells even more. You see
Right.
what I
yeah,
mean? Yeah.
I
like they
understand. I
literally
agree.
opened the season up with them two going at each other. They knew what they're doing.
Gosh, dude. Yeah. That's why I'm not going to ever give them a view. Get some real
Nah,
play. I want to see that. That's what I want to see.
hey,
Lisa
that
Leslie
that
and
that
Shaq,
girl
the only
Caitlin
people
Clark's
to.
nice, bro.
Yeah, I saw the one where Shaq kind of told her, like she's going overboard or whatever. But
Yeah,
Shaq will keep it real. Shaq definitely isn't racist. So
Yeah. Shout out to Shaq, by the way.
yeah,
sponsor a
Okay.
Shaq.
All right. Well, that was our hot appetizer portion of the show, and I actually enjoyed that. See, we could keep on doing this because when it gets controversial, one, I get upset sometimes, and then two, we get a lot of good opinions and good points, a la Cody. So, let's see, Jose. But the WNBA needs to do that because they're struggling. NBA did the same thing with Magic and Bird.
yeah.
Again, like Cody
Oh
said,
yeah, for sure. But
I see it. I see it, but I just think talent wise, it's completely different. It's a
yeah,
million times different, 100%. But yeah, and I'm just not a fan of Angel Reese. How she, yeah. Let's not get. I'm not going to get personal. Whatever. All right, let's move on. Okay, so off-season grades. Now we're going to get into off-season grades. We're going to go division by division. I'll start us off, and as far as how we're, well, to frame it correctly, as far as my opinion, at least. The grades consist of the coaching hires versus, the losses. It could be losses as well. The re-signings again versus the losses of the team, especially major key players, might not be huge names, but very valuable key role players of the team. And of course, free agency and the draft. Of course, like last year, I'll preface everything by saying this can change as well. We're not in the off-season anymore. We're more into like OTAs and training camp and all that. But as we all seen throughout the years, people come in afterwards. There's still names out there that we all believe are starting caliber or at least secondary, and they're still out there. So this, of course, list is subjective to. Well, these grades are subjective to a point. We're just not going to get too crazy on the subjective part. That's why we have a 3-way party here, and we're going to have opinions. So if y'all disagree with me, of course, hold it. Wait till I'm done with the entirety of the division, and then of course I could elaborate if y'all need be. And I'm going to ask you fellas on the grades as well. So let us start in the AFC East, the best division in NFL football. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. All right, that is what we call a comedy, fellas. There it is. We're going to start with the best team in the division as far as who has not made the playoffs, and I think they're the last team to have not made the playoffs. Let's go with the Jets offseason. So with the Jets, I mean, it's all jokes. Remember this. This is just comedy here. I like to be comedic sometimes. When it comes to the Jets, as far as what they lost DJ Reed, they lost Aaron Rodgers, of course, Devontae Adams, Javon Kinlaw. The free agency that they did, all they did was gain Justin Fields and what was the other one I wrote down?
The tight end.
The tight end from the draft you're talking about.
Yeah.
So free agency, they added Justin Fields, Sherwood. They re-signed Sherwood, their linebacker, and they brought over Brandon Stevens from Baltimore. Brandon Stevens, DJ Reed. I mean, it might be a wash. I think DJ Reed's a bit better than Brandon Stevens, but
I agree.
It's close-ish where you can try to make an argument, and I probably won't fight you on it. Now, when it comes to their draft, I like their draft just, and you could elaborate a little bit more, Joe, because you know more collegiate than I do. I like their draft just because they didn't. Well, one, this offseason, they didn't do anything weird. The Jets are known to do a bunch of weird things to. We're going to play now. The time is now. When you know the time is not now. You're the Jets. The time will never be. But let me not be biased. The time is not now because you need some more pieces. Sorry. I got my biases. It's all right. But their draft, they got an offensive tackle, which they needed. So fair enough. The next pick, they got a tight end, which they needed. So fair enough. The next pick, they got a cornerback, a young talent in Thomas, Azaria, whatever, Thomas. So that's good and all, but with everything being said and done, them gaining, of course, a defensive coordinator and their new head coach from the Lions, one, I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't think his defenses have been that great. Some of it's due to injury from Detroit, but also, I mean, he's never been good at against the pass, and maybe this defensive secondary will help with that, but I just don't see it. So as far as overall grade, with all that being said, I did give the New York Jets a off-season grade of a C+. Now, moving on to, well, actually, let me get y'all's opinion. With the Jets, do y'all agree, disagree? And what grade would you give them? Excuse me.
A D-. If you have Justin Fields as your starting quarterback.
Wow.
What about
Point blank. I'm like, Aaron Glenn is not the guy. He'll be fired within 2.5 years. It's the Jets.
Oh, for sure.
We're crying out loud. I don't know what this franchise needs to do by any means. I'm like, they're the little brothers even to the New York Giants, and that's saying something. Like they need a mass overhaul of I don't think Dan Campbell would go over there to the Jets, but I feel like a guy like that needs to go over there and like just change everything and rip down all the walls and build it back up from scratch. I just don't think Aaron Glenn, he wasn't the best coordinator on that team by any means.
Right.
And I hope he doesn't get chewed up and spit out by like how all these other NFL coaches have had in the past. Hopefully they try to do right by him and try to make a good franchise in the process, but I don't think so.
What do you on the same kind of trajectory, Cody? Joe gave him a D, I gave him a C plus.
I'm more with you. I'm gonna go C plus. I don't think that Justin Fields makes him worse. I think sometimes less is better, and you moved on from cancerous Rodgers, so I think you can only go up from there. I mean, you can't go worse, right? I mean, they're pretty much at the bottom of the barrel.
Can we not do this right now?
Hey, you brought up Aaron Rodgers. You can't do that.
Yeah, you're right.
Cody,
You're right.
You're gonna be like, you know what? I gotta take back right now.
Let me give you some stats. Not right now.
Like in the third quarter.
Best Jets quarterback in 25 years.
Jose from the Puda Pinche Sports just get a D plus from me. Actually, Joe, handle the comments for me, brother.
Yeah, I got you, man.
There's one more. Justin Fields is an upgrade from Aaron Rodgers. See,
thank you.
Y'all are kind of we're not doing this. When we get into our way too early predictions, maybe we can have that conversation. Thank you.
I'm taking Bryce Young over Aaron Rodgers right now.
See, you're doing a lot, Cody. You're doing a lot.
Milton's gonna be like, "You're doing it again." I'm gonna put you on mute.
Flag football form, Bryce Young.
Oh, for sure. Flag football, Bryce Young over Aaron Rodgers all day, every day. Now, I think one of the worst off seasons this offseason, funny enough, and from the AFC East goes to this team that is going to show the Dolphins offseason grade. Now, fellas, again, everybody that's watching, one, thank you for being here. Two, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Otherwise, I will crash out. And three, make sure you engage with us. Right now, we're talking about the Dolphins offseason grade. What grade would you give them? And please put it in the comments. If you want to put some context with it, that's what I'm all about. But if you don't, that's fine. Could Aaron Rodgers have thrown for 4,000 yards on the Bears?
No.
Last year? No. The offensive line? No. Definitely not. 0% chance.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Chicago Bears are the last team to still not have a 4,000-yard passer in NFL history. It's crazy. They have a Pope now, but they don't even have a 4,000-yard passer.
And also, because they have a Pope, this year is the year, by the way. Just heads up. All right. Way too early. But
Doris Sanders.
Yeah, I'm not going to – don't put that back up there. Okay.
I got to take Dylan Gabriel over Shador.
All right. Y'all are doing a lot. All right. So with the Miami Dolphins, one of the key needs last year, there was a lot of injuries. Of course, just like we'll talk about San Francisco later on, this team, Mike McDaniel's kind of team, doesn't care about offensive line. But I will give them credit on bringing over this where it can bite them in the behind, though. Excuse me. Is they brought over the offensive guard from Pittsburgh, James Daniels. The money is where I'm not. Before I say it, I'm probably not going to give him a great grade. It's because of the money situation. Because his problem hasn't been play, not at all. It's been injuries. He hasn't been healthy. So you're bringing a guy that's a boom or bust kind of guy, which he's a good pick. But again, now your left tackle's gone and you have no other offensive lineman. Your center's pretty good, but you have no other offensive lineman that's really competent enough to help Tua stay on the field. Because no matter what people think of Tua, when Tua's on the field, he's a good quarterback. It's just, how can you keep him on the field? How can you keep him somewhat protected? Because a brother like Tua, if the first read is there, he's great at making that. It's after the first read's not there, that's when issues occur. But anyways, the key departures, which really messed this whole grading system up, is, again, of course, they let go of Robert Jones, the offensive guard. Calais Campbell, he's like, 55 years old, so I'm not mad at that. And also the main one, which is a head scratcher, was Javon Holland. You letting Javon Holland just walk is absolutely crazy. Just my opinion. we'll talk about it. But that's your secondary was fine, and you're messing that up. I believe Jalen Ramsey and them have come to an agreement that most likely by September on kickoff day, Jalen Ramsey is going to be playing for another football team, or at least on another football team. So that also I'm putting in account. I'll say they did re-sign Kadar Kahu. He's a good, promising young talent, but he ain't Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, I just with their entire offseason, they brought over Zach Wilson. There's a positive, huh? Anybody? Nobody? Okay.
Zach Milson.
Whoa.
Yeah, Joe. Yes.
You left him speechless, Joe. He said,
You did.
yeah.
But of course, we never know what transpires and all of that. But on paper, I believe the moves that the Dolphins made, I don't think they care about this season. But I don't think they have that leeway. Mike McDaniels doesn't have that leeway time because one, the Dolphins organization is the complete they don't give you time. Mike McDaniels, sure, you made some playoff appearances, you didn't win, but if you finish last in this division, which I believe they will, we'll talk about that later on, maybe in a couple months. But I just think their offseason, I give them a big, fat D. Do y'all second that, disagree, want to add on to the pounding and bury them a little bit more? It would be music to my ears. Go ahead.
So they're going to get an F for me. You don't address anything on the offensive line by any means. Teron Armstead retires because he already knows I ain't about to do everything for this line. I'm breaking my back. Tyreek Hill's over there crying because he wants more money for some reason. He's been injury prone the past couple of seasons. Even whenever Tua came back, he wasn't that good this past season. Hopefully he turns it around. And, Tua will probably be hurt by the middle of the season. I think their coach will probably be fired probably later in the season. And Quinn Ewers will probably be starting half the season.
You want to add anything, Cody? You're good.
Fuck. I'll give it definitely an F with Joe. Joe hinted at it a little bit, but I'm gonna be saying this all season. Look, you said Mike McDaniels doesn't care about the O-line and the Dolphins, they don't care about this season. Mike McDaniel doesn't care about any season, and he doesn't care about winning at all. Ever since they got Tyreek Hill, they acted like they don't got to do anything no more. And every year it's gotten worse. And it's time to fire Mike McDaniels, bro. He sucks. Get him out of there. Let's fire Mike McDaniels this year.
All right. Well, I'm with you, but I think Mike McDaniel's a very good offensive mind. But I get
offensive mind, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong.
Okay, coordinator maybe, but head coach garbage.
Yeah,
he's more of a guy that's like gonna make a lot of these snippets. Like, man, how cool is Mike McDaniel? That kind of guy. Fair enough. Okay.
He's a little improved Bobby Slowick.
Well, he's the better play caller than Bobby Slowick. So let's
a little improved.
No, he's way better than Bobby Slowick.
I'll give it to him.
Too.
He'll be a great OC by any means. I just think him as a head coach, like it's like the McDaniels type thing, where he wasn't a good head coach, but offensive coordinator, he can coach his ass off doing that.
Gotcha. Let me see some of these comments, Joe. I saw some grades. Signing Zach Wilson is an automatic F. Well, I like Zach Wilson, dude.
You think he got potential?
Well, as a starting quarterback, no, but as a backup, I think he would have done better last year. He would have done more than Thompson at quarterback. I'll say that. D for Dolphins. I agree, Brandon. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, some of the other ones were like just off the wall.
Okay.
Like how off the wall are we talking? Oh, okay, I see it. You mean MILF. Okay, Tyreek busy hitting all his baby mamas. Okay, yeah. Guys, what are we doing here?
Tyreek has lost, what do you call it? Hard to play for the Dolphins. Nobody wants to play for them no more. Tyreek needs to go to a new team and refresh his football.
Okay. Now I will move on to the 6-time Super Bowl champions. The team that's, I mean, the last 2 decades, no one's seen anything like it. Sure, right now we're down, but
No one's seen them in the last decade.
Well, technically, you have twice.
Well, 2015, were y'all still winning?
2016 we were, yeah, and 2018 we were. So eat that, Cody, and let's move on to the Patriots. The Patriots offseason grade. So now, as a Patriot fan, this comes completely unbiased. This comes strictly from pen and paper, brain power, and stats. And we hate to say it, fellas, A+. If you say anything less, if you say anything less, A+. There's no. If we put the number there, it would be a 99. And the only reason why it's not 100 is because we didn't get. I don't know. Actually, I think we did a fantastic job. I think our main problem last year. There was a lot of main. Let me not say main problem. The mixture. Yeah, the mixture of the abundance of problems that we had last year. One came from the defensive front. Guess what? We fixed that.
And Barmore's coming back.
Barmore is going to come back. So don't get me wrong. That confuses me a little bit. It says we don't run a 4. Vrabel, period, doesn't run a 4-3. So having Barmore and Milton Williams there, very confusing. We'll see. I believe in them, so we'll see. But I'm not trying to be negative here, Joe. But Barmore's coming back. We signed Milton Williams. Oh, that's the reason why it's not 100. The contract that we had to sign Milton Williams for. A little much for me for a guy that's not really proven. He's a great pass rusher when he was needed, but he doesn't have years of at least 2-3 years of tape that shows he's a bona fide great pass rusher. So that's the only reason why I didn't give him 100. It's because I love the pick and we needed a pass rush. We had the second worst pass rush in the entire league. All right. We didn't get pressure. We didn't get sacks. We got nothing. Okay. So when it comes to our defensive line, we fixed the holes. Pass rush, we fixed the holes. We bring over Harold Landry, a guy that's very familiar with Mike Vrabel. Hopefully he's at least 75% of what he should be or what he was. I'll take that. When it comes to our secondary was fine. I had no issues with our secondary at all. And then, of course, our offensive line was absolutely terrible. We semi-fixed it. When I say semi-fixed it, it's just because it ain't going to be a top 5 offensive line. I ain't here to say that. It might not be top 10, but damn it, it's not going to be bottom 10. That's not going to be bottom 5. It's not going to be bottom 3 like we were last year. That's the main thing. That's not going to happen again. So we fix at least the holes of the offensive line where now Drake May can show more of what he showed last year under the complete duress, where I was on record saying Drake May should not go out there, not because he's not ready, but because our offensive line is absolutely terrible. Hey, a lot of people are thinking Drake May's not that good just because of his play wasn't ecstatic, not knowing the context of what did he have around him, what wide receivers were he throwing to. His number one receiver was Hunter Henry, a tight end. Hey, that was his number one guy. Douglas was pretty good as well. He's coming back healthy. We bring over Stephon Diggs. Is he healthy? I don't know. I hope so. Fingers crossed. He's a great talent, even though he's 30, 31 years old. I'm cool with that. I'm totally fine with that. I think Mike Vrabel knows how to utilize wide receivers. He knows how to get the best out of quarterbacks. We saw Ryan Tannehill have almost an MVP caliber year. Okay? Ryan Tannehill absolutely sucks. He's a wide receiver that was playing quarterback. So let's just get that as well. We draft what would you, Joe, make sure I'm not going too far. We draft out of the draft class, a top 3 running back.
Judkins? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, Henderson.
Henderson.
Yeah.
Top 3?
Top 4.
Okay. All right, thank you. Just to be safe. Top 4 running back of the class in the second round. We sure up as far as the secondary. We bring over Carlton Davis. When Carlton Davis was on the Lions healthy, he made the secondary look better than it's looked before. He got hurt, and it went right back to poop. Not just because of him. Of course, the pass rush got hurt as well. So, yeah, as far as departures, I don't care. We lost a defensive tackle. He sucked. Jonathan Jones, he's old. And Jacoby Brissett, good form. We're good. I think A+. I would give it another plus, but again, just the contract that we gave Milton Williams, if it doesn't pan out, it will look like a very bad contract. So that's the only reason why. That's the only negative that I have for our entire offseason. Now, fellas, I mean, if you disagree, you better come with it because I got a lot of paperwork right here that's gonna come right back at you. So go ahead. What did y'all grade the Patriots offseason? And don't be.
I would give it like a 89.5, like almost right there at A.
All right.
It's just
I'm with it. B+.
Oh, right.
Yeah, let's go.
The Stephon Diggs contract for me was kind of surprising. And I was thinking, like, they have enough power and collateral where they could have got another guy in the first round. I'm like, I know that wide receiving core after Stephon Diggs. And Stephon Diggs, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. There's Matt Collins after that. And, there's a lot of young guys there as well.
Go with Matt.
So hopefully somebody pops along with Diggs. Hopefully he comes back healthy. That run game next season, it's going to be really good, Milton. Campbell's going to be out there leading the charge for that line. And, Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, that's thunder and lightning right there. So hopefully y'all kind of go back. Vrabel goes back to his bread and butter how he was in Tennessee, and that's what I think probably be so. So that's why I'm like Drake May last year. You could see the arm talent, you could see him passing. So I don't know if you want to hinder his growth, just having him become honorary. Just let me hand off the ball.
Well, that's not going to be possible. But having that, what made the Tennessee Titans good under Mike Vrabel for so long was, yes, the running back, but the play action ability. And I think that's what's going to feed into us having success this season. How much success? Again, you got to catch us on our way too early series, but we'll get there. Cody, you agreed with me.
I agreed with Joe. Yeah, B+.
I think it does.
I think it does waver though on Diggs a lot. If Diggs comes healthy and turns out good, man, y'all had an A+ for sure.
Okay, I appreciate that. At least there's some kind of caveat there. All right, is there any comments, Joe? Let me know. Unless they pissed me off, don't let me see them. A for the Patriots. Shout out to Jose. He knows ball. Stephon Diggs went to the Pats for the booty. That's funny. All right, Brandon. I get the joke.
Don't you love when you comment on a football post and then you get just someone, go watch football, go learn football, just because they disagree with you?
Oh, my goodness, dude. That's why, again, I always give props to Jalen. Because dealing with that kind of stuff, I would easily just send a link. Well, get on. Tell me, let's talk about it, please. And of course they wouldn't, but still, it's like, all right, well then shut up. You can't prove me wrong, dude. All right.
Hey, you'll probably have famous people in the crowd now because who Stephon Diggs is with. He'll probably be.
That's what I'm actually scared of. I'm like, don't bring Cardi B there, please don't. Oh gosh,
that's right. That's gonna be y'all's Taylor Swift. That's gonna be crazy. Cardi B on everything.
I promise you, if that happens, I will.
Super Bowl.
Well, we might, but I'll actually not be that happy about it because I know what's going
Cardi B.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Was it? Titans had. Go to Brandon's last comment. Titans had AJ Brown, Julio. Okay, Julio didn't count. Derrick Henry, Adrian Peterson didn't count. Hey man, go back. I'm trying to read it. I didn't get to read it. That's probably why they were good.
They had good moments.
Under Vrabel, when he first got there, he made he had them win 9 games. Then he started winning 12 games, I think 2 years in a row. Then that was when the organization started saying okay, the GM traded AJ Brown away when Mike Vrabel didn't give him the go ahead. And then that's when it kind of all steered all in the wrong direction.
Yeah, but I mean, they were never really competitive, like Super Bowl competitive.
Well, Super Bowl fair, but remember when they beat us and they freaking kicked Tom Brady out, and then they beat the number 1 Baltimore. And then they went to the
You're talking about when they were on that run towards the end of the season? That was a good minute years ago, though. Wasn't that like 10 plus years ago?
No. Remember, they made Tom Brady get out of that was the last year Tom Brady was on the Patriots. Then the year after that, they beat the number 1 seeded Baltimore Ravens, and then they go to the AFC Championship game and lose. So that was more recent.
Oh,
Not
okay,
when I say
yeah, I
recent,
do
it was
remember
like
that run. Yeah,
18. What was that? 18 or something, I think.
Yeah. I could
Okay.
look it up.
Yeah, just to be sure. I think it was
it's
18.
me.
17 or 18. Okay. All right. Now,
I remember a long time ago they had a run like that.
Oh yeah, well with Vince Young, I remember they had that run. Yeah.
Yeah. When they beat Baltimore, you remember what I'm talking about? And then
Yep.
they're like, oh, the Titans about to go to the Super Bowl. And then they got whooped the next game.
Yeah. So Titans.
In 2020, they said they made it.
Okay, 2020. Okay, I'm way off. All right, fair enough. All right, now I saved the Bills for last just because I'll show them respect. They've been division winners for the last couple of years, ever since Tom Brady left. Don't forget, Tom Brady owns the Bills. And let's not make this a show about the Patriots, guys. All right, let's chill out. Okay. Well, the Bills off season. Now, from the season before, they keep Joe Brady. Of course, Sean McDermott stays. The main thing that the Bills did this offseason that gives them a good grade is the resignees, I guess. Resignees mean you quit. So the players that they kept. Josh Allen, they extend, well warranted. It's good to get on it now, and I think even though, yes, it's a big deal, I think he took somewhat of a pay cut. A guy in Josh Allen that just won MVP, he could have easily said, I want $62 million a year. That's what I want. Easily could have said that. He said, nah. He knows better. That's not how your team's going to get good at all. After you do the Bills. Okay, gotcha. And then also they re-signed Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau's not a huge name or anything of the sort, but he is a very talented pass rusher, and he's very consistent, and he's very young. So keeping him, of course, pairing him with Joey Bosa. I hope Joey Bosa. There's the negative with Joey Bosa. He's a player that seems to have injury problems, and going up to Buffalo in that cold weather, I don't think that helps that situation. I hope it does, but we'll see about that. Also, they didn't have a lot of money to work with, yet they still were able to get a couple of players. And Josh Palmer, I think Josh Palmer fits that kind of team, the kind of scheme that they try to play. What they wanted to make. What is the rookie? What was the rookie's name that they got?
In the draft?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of his name.
I can pull it up right now.
What is his name?
Maxwell Henderson, cornerback, really fast.
No. So last year, the year before, the wide receiver that they chose.
Keon Coleman.
Yeah, Keon. What they expected Keon Coleman to become, Josh Palmer's that already. He's a guy that's very good with the 20-plus yard passes. He's very good at his route running. He's a very strong wide receiver, very good in the red zone. So get a guy like that, I think is going to help big time. They did lose Elam as far as the corner. He was a good corner. Also losing Von Miller. Yep. But with Von Miller, again, you could just switch that with Joey Bosa. I think it's about the same amount of play you're going to get out of both. Also with their draft. Yeah, I heard the cornerback is pretty cold that they got in the first round, right?
Fast.
Right. So that's a positive. They got a defensive lineman and a edge rusher after that. I would have gave them a better grade that I'm about to give them, but the only thing is they still have the same safety room. When you have Taylor Rapp and who's the guy that almost died? DeMar Hamlin. When you have both of them, they were ranked I know bad choice of words, but they were ranked 30th or 31st as far as a tandem is in the safety rooms. So you keep them and they're coming back. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I think that will still bite them in the keister when it comes to playoffs. Regular season, I believe in them. I think they'll win the division and all that. We'll talk about that later, but all that. But yeah, my grade I give the Buffalo Bills will be a resounding B. It would be higher just because of
like a B plus or
B
B
plus.
minus.
Yeah, not an A. Yeah. I give him a B in general, just a B.
Just a
I put
flat B.
yeah, just a flat B.
It's going to be interesting
Mhm.
because Cook is in his final year of his deal. What do they do with him moving forward? So that with the Bills,
Mhm.
it's getting close to that like edge of like make or break seasons.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, last year everybody thought the team was going to backslide and be rebuilding and all that. And hey, man, they made the AFC Championship game. So
Right.
No, yeah, for sure.
I think they didn't get worse. They got better somewhat, in my opinion. If
I
they
think the defense, I don't think the defense was the problem. It was just the offense. Where it go from here? Hopefully Keon Coleman continues to improve. Hopefully
Yeah.
Shakur, after the seasons he's been having the past two, improves, and Cooks the season he has continues to build on that for his contract.
Right on. Do you agree, Cody? Before we move off
Yeah,
of
I agree. Like a
AFC?
B.
Okay. All right. Well, let us move on. Let's stay in the AFC, but let's go down south. Let's move on to the AFC South, which
Down south,
consists
baby.
of the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, the Houston Texans, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, to
Yep.
lead the dance, Cody, I want you to take this one. Your team's in there. You could save them for first or last. I don't care how you do it. But you go ahead. Tell me on the off seasons of these teams and what you grade them.
I will do the Texans last because Wise Man told me it's the best for last, so that's what we'll do.
Okay.
We'll start off with the worst, and that will be the Colts. The Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, they did. They signed Daniel Jones. Good job. You got somebody to back up Anthony Richardson. And they got Ward, right? They picked up Ward.
Tre'Davious
That's a
Ward,
pretty
Tre'Davious.
good pickup. Other than that, I don't really know what else they're gonna improve at or what spots they really improved at a whole lot. Who did they draft?
tight end, a good edge rusher, and a corner.
Tyler Warren.
That was their first round pick.
Tyler Warren,
Penn
yeah.
State
He was
tight end.
supposed to be like the top tight end too, I've heard. Big playability, I guess.
Okay. I'm not too familiar with his play, so I guess we'll
you got
see
a-
about
you
that.
got a
But
Penn State,
overall,
bro.
I don't feel
Yeah, think of like Travis Kelce-esque type tight end right there with Tyler Warren, and he can block a little bit better.
Go ahead, Cody.
okay. Well, yeah, I mean if they got Travis Kelce, then they'll be all right. But overall, from what I can see now, I give the Colts like a C plus.
Okay. But they also
Yeah,
brought over Cameron Bynum. So remember last year, their corner room sucked. And I said, what was going on? Why are you relying on Kenny Moore? Remember last year, I said, okay, they're not getting anybody, they're resigning everybody, but they didn't take care of that secondary room. Now they bring over Tre'Davious Ward and Cameron Bynum from the Vikings and safety room. I think that's a good secondary now. That's where their linebacking core is decent. Their front four is pretty good. I wonder.
it's just that offensive weapons room. Besides
Offensive
JT,
weapons room is fine. He's JT. You got I can't think of his. I can't. Michael Pittman
Pittman
Jr.
Jr. is probably one of the low end wide
Pittman
receiver
sucks,
ones.
bro.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he
Okay.
sucks,
Okay.
bro.
Also, you got Adonai Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell's a very,
From
very
Texas.
good talent. Potentially, you're right.
It's
Right.
just AR5. It's a make or break season for him.
Oh,
If
for sure.
not, Daniel Jones somehow is going to continue to be starting in the NFL, which I do not know how.
I think, because Cody, you said C plus or C.
I give it like a C plus.
Okay, so at least a plus is fine. That's fair. I'll say my concern is their offensive line. They've been known to have a good offensive line. They got rid of Ryan Kelly and Will Fries. So, and they replaced one of them ish. That's where I have issues. It's like, okay, well, Anthony Richardson didn't do a lot with a good offensive line. What is it going to do with probably still a good offensive line? Don't get me wrong, but a lesser offensive line.
He's just gonna try to run over everybody with his helmet.
Well, he's going to play 2 games again, and so now, yeah, we'll see. When
Not
you
like,
give him,
yeah.
you give him
That's
a
why I
C
say
plus.
their best pickup is really Daniel Jones when you look at it. I
Well,
mean, he's
Tre'Davious
gonna.
Ward. Tre'Davious Ward
Well,
is their
yeah,
big
but I'm saying,
offensively. They didn't pick up
yeah,
anybody really offensively, but I think their weapons is fine. With of course, a competent quarterback. I'll say
Just call up Cleveland and tell them, hey, I want Joe Flacco back.
they already tried
no,
that. Joe
Deshaun
Flacco didn't
Watson.
work well. He didn't work well there. Joe Flacco has to be on a certain kind of scheme. It don't work. But you saying C plus, I give him a B. But I appreciate the plus. I thought you were gonna give him like a D.
No,
Okay,
Yeah, I
good.
see C plus is just when you have Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson competing for your quarterback 1 position. That's kind of telling you where that franchise is at. Like, don't get me
yeah.
wrong, Ballard is a good GM, but for some reason he cannot get the guy under center.
Yeah, well, getting a quarterback's tough, ain't it? Now everybody's starting to see that. Everybody's starting to see that. But okay, y'all say C plus. I say B. Go ahead, Cody. What you got next?
All right, next team we'll do will be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Big Duval. So they made a little. They made a little splash in the draft. Got Travis Hunter. Got a top,
Horrible.
got a top media guy at least. So they'll definitely be selling tickets and stuff. People will come watch them. But unfortunately, they will be coming to watch them lose because after Travis Hunter and they got, Lewis at cornerback, he's a pretty good pickup. But, I mean, you signed Nick Mullins. Like, what are you doing? You signed, Eric Murray. He's all right, I guess. But overall, I didn't feel like the Jaguars made a splash that they needed to in the offseason, especially where their team was at. They could have done a lot more. So I give them like a C minus / F.
Wait, that's a skip. C minus / F. What happened to the D? You just skipped to the
it's
Okay,
like
C
the
minus.
0.5.
Okay, all right. Well, you got some, Joe? Go ahead.
I would just give it a D minus the way they mortgage the
Oh
franchise.
yeah, my bad. I meant D minus.
Yeah,
I see
Yeah,
what you're saying
the
now.
way they
Yeah.
mortgaged the franchise on Travis Hunter and giving up so much for him. If it was like a quarterback, even though this quarterback class was horrible, if it was for like a quarterback, in any franchise, you have Trevor Lawrence, so you kind of know what's going to start happening in the next couple of seasons. But they traded too much for him to move up a couple spots, and they better hope they do not have the number 1 pick next season because then they'll go to Cleveland.
Well, yeah, I'll give him a much worse grade than I gave him. I gave him a C plus. Yes, the trade of for Travis Hunter, yeah, that was a little off putting. I agree, but they got some offensive line help, not much, but some. That means okay, they're not a good amount, but still some. They got a guy in Liam Cohen, which again, it could. This is where it can make and break. It could be really just the Baker Mayfield effect, or this guy really knows how to get the best out of his quarterback because Baker Mayfield had a career year with Liam Cohen calling the plays. So it just depends, man. Trevor Lawrence is gonna really kind of somewhat depend more on Trevor Lawrence on can he get out of this. Oh, he has a good 3-4 games and then boom, just either stagnant, bad games, injuries, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I'm not too excited about watching a Jaguars game. So fair enough.
Okay, so then next we got the Tennessee Titans. Um, I think they had a better offseason. I think they had the best offseason, probably the division. They went and got their quarterback at least. Hopeful. I think he'll at least pan out better than Will Levis did. Regardless, even if he's not all that, but you got to be better than Will Levis. They went and got some O line talent. They signed a few. They signed a guard. What's his name? Zettler, whatever. And they signed Dan Moore. I think he was on the Steelers, right? So he's pretty good, I think, too. At least they're beefing that up. As far as their offensive weapons, as far as like wide receivers and stuff, I still question about that. I don't know how that's gonna all turn out. Calvin Ridley, I'm not sold on him. I think that's still going to be an issue for them trying to score. Their defense is there still, of course. They added a few pieces there, but overall, I give them like a B plus offseason grade.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I love their draft. They got, again, the quarterback for the future, hopefully. The edge defensive end, he's a good guy, right? Right,
Yeah.
Joe? Right. I heard a lot of good things about him. I will say one of the dockets that I gave them, yes, they brought over Dan Moore, but they completely overpaid this brother. He ain't that good.
No,
That's
he's
for
not.
sure. Yeah,
He is not
he's
that good,
decent
bro.
though because their O line was bad.
But
Right.
decent O linemen are hard to find. So
That's where
people are
I get
overpaying
it.
them.
I don't get me wrong. I don't think it's like, oh, they're dysfunctional. No, but they overpaid for a guy in Dan Moore, which he has not shown that he's a top 15, top 18 tackle, like left tackle. Strictly. Let's leave right tackle off. So that got some points for me. Yeah, like you said, when it comes to the receiving core, Ridley's a good wide receiver, but not a 1. When he's a 2, that's where, he eats more. Then bringing over Lockett, I think is going to help for sure, 100%.
And then
I
Van
love
Jefferson as well.
Right. I love their tight end. I think he's a sleeper. He can
And then
really
Cam Ward brought his boy Restrepo. He was with Miami, undrafted, which I was surprised he was undrafted. So him
okay.
having his best buddy that he had in college together, that's going to be really good to see.
Right on. And Cody, you gave them a B plus or a B?
A B plus.
Okay. Well, I gave them a B. That's it. So, I mean, we're not too far off. Joe, what do you think?
I would give Tennessee a C plus, just
Okay,
in the fact that
I like it.
the defense by any means is perfect. The offense, though, the running back room is good. It's just that wide receiver room, how's it going to pan out? Calvin Ridley, you saw what he did with Jacksonville, didn't do really good. Now he's the wide receiver 1, which is he really a wide receiver 1 in this day and age? Probably not. So who's going to be the other guy to step up for a rookie quarterback?
Fair enough. Okay. Let's go ahead and move to the 2 years in a row division winner.
Back to
Back
back.
to back.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cody.
Back to back.
The Texans. So the Texans made a lot of moves. I don't think too many moves were super significant at all, but they did make a lot of them. They brought in a lot of cheap talent, I guess you could say. How it's gonna pan out with people like Cam Robinson, and Tomlin or Tomlinson or whatever his name
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tomlinson. I don't know how they're going to pan out, how the O line's going to shape up this year. I'm just hoping that somehow we get a fire out of them and they at least play decent. Man, please top half of the league, man. Keep CJ Stroud up, and that's what I'm praying for. We did bring in some more defensive help. We brought in Gardner. I like that move. Our secondary looks crazy. Our defense in a whole looks like it's going to have to carry because we lost guys like Diggs and stuff, but I guess that wasn't really a loss because he wasn't really here anyway.
He didn't really play.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of like we won't really feel that loss. Overall, I don't think we lost a lot, so I think that's a plus. We just shifted up our O line, and we'll just have to kind of see how that plays out. Now, I don't have too much faith, so that's the reason I'm gonna give us like a C. If I feel like we brought in bigger names or better guys, I would have gave us a higher thing, a higher grade. But since it's a pretty big what if for our O line, I'm gonna give us a C.
Okay. Real quick before. All right. Appreciate the honesty. Brandon, bonus points for creating I can't say that last name versus Travis Hunter. That's the guy that That's is that the wide receiver that completely demolished Travis Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kept seeing that. And I said, yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay. All right. Well, you said a C?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C.
Man, I think y'all did better than that. Like, don't get me wrong, you heard me all like, well, okay, you got rid of Tunsil.
Well,
You're getting rid of
the CJ Garner Johnson move is going to be really key with y'all.
that's the big
So
one. That is a big move.
I think that defense
Yeah, it was.
is leaps and bounds ahead of the offense, just because the offensive line is it's a work in progress. So that defense, man, if you're not at best top 7 next season, I'm going to be upset.
No, number one.
Yeah.
We'll be number one
Well,
defense.
see, all right.
I told y'all last year we'd be top 5. I ain't believe it. We was top 5. This year we'll be number 1.
All right. Where
I mean,
top?
front to back, who really look like they got a much better defense than us?
Tennessee.
Yeah, but their offense might be the struggle. Let's see. Defense.
Damn.
Philadelphia.
Chicago.
And of course, this is on paper. So
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get there. But I liked y'all getting 2 wide receivers in the draft. I thought that was good. I thought it was good. Like, because yes, okay, offensive line. Well, you sure up your right tackle at least, as far as bringing. I can't think of his name right now. Patriot faithful.
Brown
Patriot.
or Mason.
We brought in so many
No, Trent Brown.
Mason.
Trent Brown. No, Shaq.
Brown,
No.
okay.
You're right. I was thinking Shaq Mason on the Patriots. Y'all kept saying he absolutely sucked with y'all. I watched it. You're right. I don't know what the hell happened to Shaq Mason.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're right. You were right though. So, but Trent Brown, you shored up the right side as far as the tackle position. Cam Robinson is a good left tackle. It's just if you compare him to Tunsil, yeah, he ain't Tunsil. Sorry, he's not going to be Tunsil. I get you don't like the penalties and all that. As a pass blocking tackle, he's a top guy. That's just
I get that.
Everything else, I got it. Might be a locker room cancer. That's out there. Fair enough. With the blocking for the run, not the greatest. Got it. But as a pass blocking left tackle, he's, again, one of the top guys. Again, at least Cam Robinson is suitable and he's competent. So I give you that. I think your offensive line, yes, it's a work in progress. But what they did on bringing guys like Cam Robinson and Laken Tomlinson, guys that are proven it already. They know that, all right, these guys aren't going to screw it up for this team. They're not going to screw it up for as far as reads, not being able to read blitzes and all of that. They can read all of that. That's fine. Now, if they're overpowered, they're overpowered. But it's a good step in the direction of, okay, well, we have to at least have a better offensive line. Like I said with the Patriots, even with y'all, you say top half offensive line. Y'all don't even really need that. You just need a top 20-ish, just not a bottom 10, bottom 5 offensive line. That's really it, because CJ Stroud can make good reads. I've been very critical of CJ Stroud just because of the first year. The first year, everybody's saying this. I'm like, well, he's not really that. I'm confused. Stats lie sometimes. You have to really watch.
No, he really is that.
But I think he is. After this second year, even with the struggles, the way that he was able to analyze the field and make the right reads with the lack of competition. Again, the reason why people hate on Brock Purdy on the he had an off year this year from his MVP quote unquote year. It's like, well, he still played good on bad conditions. Same thing with CJ Stroud. He played well with the conditions he was given. And so if you shore that front side up with that defense, I think you'll be a top 5, top 3 defense. Top 1, we'll talk about it later maybe. But I think y'all overall in the offseason kind of filled what you need to fill. And I gave y'all a B. So I didn't think the C wasn't. Okay. I appreciate it being, humble. I respect that. But I think the Texans did well for what they needed. They didn't need much. They just needed that offensive line.
Yeah, we really do. We've got one missing piece.
What did you think, Joe?
With the Texans, the way they shored up the defense, I just didn't think I'm like, they should have just went offensive line, and I was kind of surprised that they didn't do that. Really, I know they brought in a lot of 1 year guys, a lot of guys to see what they
Mhm.
had, but when you have C.J. Stroud there, that's the biggest piece to that franchise. You
Yep.
need to protect them at all costs, and you got to get a bunch of guys to protect them. Good guys. You don't want to just guys who are middle of the pack and he gets hurt, and then your franchise goes down the toilet.
Right on. Let's get into some of these comments, Joe. I saw Jose put the grades up there. I didn't.
Yeah, yeah. No, the other ones are off the wall.
I didn't get to see Jose's grades. Let me go.
Oh, okay. I put it back up.
Colts C, Jags C minus, Titans B minus, Texans C plus. I know Jose didn't like y'all getting wide receivers in the draft. I remember that part for sure. Okay. What about I think Brandon made some decent points. And Chase. Chase is Aristos. Tunsil barely run blocks. Yep,
Yeah,
I agree.
the
Yep.
money was a big
Right.
part of letting go
That's
of
why
Tunsil.
I get it. At first I was confused, dude. I'm not gonna lie. But more you dig in, you kind of understand it for sure. Texans did
If
good.
it was
O-line
Trent
was pretty
Williams,
efficient.
of course, but
Yeah, well that's
Tunsil ain't
yeah,
Trent Williams. So.
yeah. Yeah, they did good. Still, again, the offensive line, yes, that is their biggest question mark. But like Chase said, less so. They needed rookie contracts on the O line to make the books work. Fair enough. Fair enough, brother. Okay. That's AFC South. Cody, talk to me, dude. How much time you got, or you gotta leave?
I gotta bounce. Yeah.
All good.
Sorry,
good.
I'm lagging like a motherfucker.
It's all good. Appreciate it, Cody. Thank you for being here,
All right,
brother.
y'all.
I'll holla. All right. Let us go into. I'll go. Well, okay. So we did AFC South. We did AFC East. Let's stick with AFC for now. Let's go AFC. You want to go AFC North since me and Cody been talking?
Well, I can do AFC North because that's the one I had, and then
Yeah,
we
let's
can
do that.
kind of just
Yeah, we'll do the other.
spitball AFC East. I mean AFC West. So I had the AFC North.
Well, go ahead. I had the AFC West. I got that.
Oh, okay. I don't know why Cody said he had it for some
No,
reason.
he had. Oh no, he did. I'm sorry, he did. I had NFC. I'm thinking NFC West. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So we're starting off, man. I guess what I could do, how I think the um the division's gonna pan out next season.
Mhm.
In the Cleveland Browns, man. Honestly, they had probably one of the best drafts out of any team this season.
Mhm.
For the draft at least. You trade away the second pick to the Jaguars, and you get a king's ransom, and you get multiple picks, first rounders galore to kind of make up for the debacle you did with the Deshaun Watson trade.
Right.
You get Graham to pair up right next to Myles Garrett. You re-sign Myles Garrett, which it's kind of a puzzling move because you don't know as a franchise where you're going after the future, of course. But at least you have some kind of stability. You have an anchor for your franchise moving forward, a guy you know who's going to come in and get 10 15 sacks every season, and you know that defense is going to be stout.
Mhm.
And you drafted a bunch of quarterbacks in the draft.
Mhm.
Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders. You brought in Joe Flacco, traded for Kenny Pickett. So this offseason, it's almost like a wash year this season. So you don't know who's going to be your quarterback. Of course, JOK is going to be out for the season, which
Yeah.
isn't good as well. But you do get your running back tandem and Judkins and Sampson, your new Thunder Lightning. You let Nick Chubb go. You restructure Jerome Ford's contract. Let me see. Charles Woodson is actually going to be part owner now, part of the Cleveland Browns. So that's always good to have a legend in the room now.
Huh.
Um, let me tear this out real quick.
Huh.
Okay, you release Juan Thornhill though. I was kind of surprised about that move, safety
Yep.
wise. I was kind of like he's one of your standouts defensively out towards the back end, and you let him go. Like the defense is not the issue whatsoever.
No.
It's what is his offense going to be? Can Jerry Jeudy continue to build on the season that he had last season? Can David Njoku continue to do what he did last season after what happened with his face? Who's the quarterback for the future? So that's the thing. Moving on, because this year you don't know what you have. You're just throwing everybody into a hat whoever wins it, hopefully they can do good. If not, they'll regroup and look at next season because they'll probably have another two top 10 picks possibly, because I do not think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be good whatsoever next season. So you have 2 top 10 picks next season. You can change your franchise around just like that.
Yeah. So what's your grade?
So with that being said, I give them a 70, so a barely passing grade.
What's
I'm like,
barely passing with all they again with all the draft picks they got? That's a huge plus. With the quarterback situation, yeah, they're none of them are. Well, we'll see about Shador.
I don't think any of them are going to last anyway. Shador Sanders, to me, I just think he's a decent quarterback. Is he that good? Especially in that weather, he didn't look too great in Colorado. The weather's even worse. I feel like in Cleveland, it just looks uglier over there. At least Colorado looks like sunny and snowy and looks pretty. Cleveland is muggy and ugly.
Yeah, so off-season wise, I just think when you bring back the DC Jim Schwartz is fine.
Yeah,
Like we
the
said,
thing
the
is,
defense is not.
the defense, you do not have to worry about that whatsoever. The
Mhm.
defense is going to bring its lunch pails and stuff. But Jerry Judy, is he really your number one wide receiver? Probably
He
not. You have
showed.
two.
Why not? He showed he was. Why not?
It was a garbage season, so to say.
I wouldn't say that. It wasn't. No, I wouldn't say that.
I'm
Jerry
like
Judy outperformed a lot of people's wide receiver
he
one.
did, but the thing I'm going to say to you is that there was for a bottom feeding team. Can he continue to do that now though? That's what I look at.
What do you
Like,
mean?
did the games matter? They didn't.
Right. Well, sure, but he was performing when the game was close. It wasn't like, oh, well, the team's up down by 20, 30. Jerry Judy had a fantastic year with way worse quarterback and incompetence in quarterback
Yeah,
than
I just
most
think
people's number one.
I just think the quarterback play is going to hinder this team until they
Sure.
finally find that. That's why I give it a C, because the team, like, luckily they were able to find dumbasses in Jacksonville to give them all those picks to make
Right.
up for what they did a couple seasons ago when they gave up all their picks to Houston, and Houston was all like, "Hell yeah, bro, I'll give you that. I'll drive them to the airport." But now it's like, hopefully they continue to be smart. Hopefully their GM, he looks like he's a competent GM doing something like that, trading out and getting more picks, getting a top D tackle, Mason Graham. Hopefully you can continue to build that defense for the future, which that defense, we're talking with Cody, that defense might can be a top 2,
Yeah.
top 3 defense.
As long as the offense is right. As long as the offense is competent.
It's just the offense to me that hinders a lot of things. They're like Jerry Judy, he came out of nowhere playing really good this past season. So can he continue to do that?
Sure.
And that's why I give him a 70. The quarterback play hinders a lot to me with him.
Yeah. With the quarterback play, I think it's probably a better situation than they had last year. So that's where, like, even though, it's a weird quarterback room, I think this is perfect for a Kevin Stefanski-led offensive unit, because all Kevin Stefanski needed was, okay, can you run this? Can you run this? Can you run this? A lot of times DTR couldn't. Joe Flacco did for a little bit, but that was not last year. Jameis Winston did for a little bit, but he couldn't. So now he has so many options to choose from. I think that's actually a net positive for Cleveland. I really think their offseason is I gave it a B plus, just because, I mean, the acquisitions of, as far as trade value, again, the number one picks are huge. The quarterback acquisition, sure, the quarterback might not make the team better or anything like that, but I don't think it makes it worse than last year. I think the defense stays the same. I think actually defense plays better than last year, because the only reason why they weren't a top-led defense last year was because of the offense. I think, of course, it could happen again. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But I just think with all of the quarterbacks that they can look at in training camp, and now you have 4 to really study and say, all right, this quarterback can run this. Dope. We can start doing this. Mainly why I give them an extra added bonus is they finally admitted that the Deshaun Watson experiment was a failure. That's a huge step for Browns. Browns, everything has been dysfunctional. They never admit their wrongs. That's just been the Browns' philosophy. And now that they finally actually ate some crow, I think that's a good step in the right direction. Of course, this is all just off-season talk. We ain't talking like me saying all this doesn't mean the Browns are going to be good. Not saying that. Just saying I think it is a move in the right direction, and they had a successful off-season. Reason why I gave them a B+. But okay.
Yeah, no, with me, it's quarterback play. Like they can do all those moves defensively, looks great by any means, but now you got to fix that offense. That defense did not need any more help by any means. It's just now that offense start turning around. Hopefully, next season with those picks they have, they start going for offensive, firepower now and can continue to build this team properly, like how they've been doing now.
All right, all right. What else you got?
So next team up, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm gonna flat out give them their grade right now. I give them a 66 right now. I think right now with the teams that I have had so far, they had one of the worst grades. It's just quarterback. You trade away George Pickens. Aaron Rodgers is holding this team ransom, hostage, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And at the pick they had, I think they had pick 20. I was kind of surprised they did not go Shedeur Sanders there. I felt like that right there would have been a pick where he probably would have fell to. And I was kind of surprised with that, which, maybe Tomlin didn't want to deal with all the BS that deals with that. So maybe he was like, I'm too old for this. If they make me draft them, maybe I'll just quit. They did trade for DK, which was a kind of surprising move to me because he said he wanted to play in better weather, stuff like that. Then he goes to Pittsburgh. I was like, what? But he got his bag. He got his big time deal. They did pick up some decent or they re-signed some of their wide receiver weapons, which I didn't even know they were on the team. Scotty Miller, Ben Skoranek. They restructured Corey Holcomb's contract. They did sign Darius Slay. They signed Robert Woods, so they are picking up veteran leadership. But the thing with me too is who do they have to fill the void of Najee Harris? They let him walk. Tyler Warren is now your number one running back now, who becomes the number two. They did sign Josh Uche, so that's another guy who can help out TJ Watt. So don't the defense is very stout like always, but how does that offense look now? Because you lose Najee, DK's there. Who's going to be the quarterback? They picked up Mason Rudolph back again. So what's going to happen here is Aaron Rodgers is going to become the savior, put on his little cape and say, I'm here, everybody.
Yeah, right. Don't worry, guys. I got it. You don't like, and I'm asking as a general question, I don't know who the heck this guy is. Caleb Johnson, running back. Rookie?
No, I need to look him up then.
Dang it. All right. Well, that means he's probably not that good because you would know who that is. I would say I second everything you said. I think the Steelers offseason, I gave them a D-. I just don't get it.
For Iowa.
You think anything? Nothing stands out then? None?
Yeah,
Right.
like what Chase is saying. So this is what Chase said. Steelers off season made no sense for me. Like, yeah, it didn't make no sense for me because I'm like, you know what you need to do. I'm like, especially in this division, who do you play 4 times out of the year? Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. You need another quarterback on that opposite side. I know they don't play each other one-on-one-ish, but you need a guy who can go battle to battle, back to back against these guys. I'm like, and if y'all don't do that, the Steelers are going to continue to be 9-8, 10-7, and be one and done in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Steelers had a bad offseason. Especially, it's Pittsburgh Steelers. It's again, we're not talking about the Browns. We're not talking about Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah,
we're not talking about those dysfunctional
franchises. They nickname it Sixburg for a reason. I'm like, they play for Super Bowls, and in the past 15, 20 years, they have not really competed for a Super Bowl except for, was it 03, 04 with Big Ben? So 20 years, I'm like, that's crazy.
And with that being said, they never had a
08, 09, my bad. I forgot the one they went against Arizona. So going on almost 20 years, but 15 plus years.
But they never had a offseason where we're just like, what is going on? What are they doing?
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph, okay, you bring over a wide receiver. Okay, cool. And is Mason Rudolph your quarterback? And if it's Aaron Rodgers, again, you're going into a offseason where nothing has been announced yet. It's just weird, man. It's a very dysfunctional portion of it. It seems off.
It's more weirder because too he's over there working out with DK at UCLA at their facilities and stuff, and I'm just like, bro, like if you like hurry up and sign with the team, stop playing around and running around with DK.
Yeah, but yeah, D- for me too.
Yeah.
Steelers one of the worst off seasons this year. Go ahead.
All right, moving on, man. The Cincinnati Bengals, dysfunctional at its finest. I do not understand this. You know, Trey Hendrickson is wanting a new contract, and they continue not to pay him. I'm like, do you not know he's like the only defensive player that they have on the team?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they want this team to score 40 plus points next season because they did sign their two standout wide receivers, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, got both record setting deals at wide receiver one and wide receiver two esque money. But that's not even the thing here. I'm like, their first round pick still Shamar Stewart, D tackle, still continuing to sit out because they lowballed him. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like, they did the right thing and they fired their D coordinator. And you know what are y'all gonna do? If I was Joe Burrow, I would be pissed right now. I'm like, my offense looks good, but you know, bro, I can't be on the field all day long. Like this defense needs to be on the field sometimes. You know, because they also resigned Mike Gesicki, so his whole offense is looking good, but his defense looks horrible. I'm just like, bro, like, don't you want a little bit of help, Joe? I'm like, I understand you're great, but complain to that off to the franchise and tell them, hey, like I appreciate what you did for me on the offense, but hey, I didn't want all that, you know.
Yeah. So what's your grade?
A 69.
Okay. Well, what's because again, where's a new grading system and all that? What's failing? 59?
No, so it's a C. I don't know, like whenever I was in school, C's in high school, C's, but in college for some reason they would say D's would be passing, but I don't know.
That's crazy. Okay. Well, yeah, Cincinnati dysfunctional. They for a team that aspires to win a Super Bowl, make a Super Bowl because they have a franchise changing quarterback, franchise changing wide receiver, well, two wide receiver duos, a good tight end in Mike Gesicki, a very good tight end in Mike Gesicki, not doing anything on defense other than changing the defensive coordinator. Don't get me wrong. I will say this for all Bengals optimistic fans: your defense on paper shouldn't have been as bad as it was last year. So this year it shouldn't be as bad as it was last year. That's the gimme. I give you that. But you did absolutely nothing to maybe make the defense even better or able to challenge in a playoff environment against certain these top AFC teams. But yeah, I also give them, what did I give them? Cincinnati. I gave them a D plus. The plus is only because I don't think their defense could get worse. And I think I do like them looking out for Joe and saying, all right, well, we'll do this, this, this. It got even I was gonna give them a C, but the Stewart situation that you put out there, again, it's just reeking. It's reeking dysfunction.
Yeah, no. And moving on, I feel like this is the cream of the crop of the division, the Baltimore Ravens, man. Um, let's pull up this thing right now. What Chase was saying. Does the Bengals even have any good QBs? I do not. Cornerbacks, not quarterbacks. So let me pull up their.
Yeah, they got Taylor Britt. He's good. That's it. That's all I got though.
Yeah, that's the only good one on their roster.
Cam
But
Taylor
moving
Britt.
on, man. The Ravens. I don't even know how they were able to draft so good, man. Being this late in the draft, they get Starks to pair up with Kyle Hamilton, crazy, and then they pick up Mike Green, the best edge rusher in all of the draft. He had some character issues of why he failed to the second round, but to pair up with Matt BK and OC or Owen, whatever the other guy's name is, for Baltimore was crazy to let those two defensive guys drop. It was crazy. They extended Derrick Henry 2 years, so that's always good to see. Ronnie Staley, they signed him to the 3-year contract extension. They gave Coach John Harbaugh a 3-year extension. They retained the OC Munkin. They signed Chidobe Awuzie big time pickup right there to go up with Wiggins on the other side. So that 1-2 combo is going to be really good. They signed a good backup quarterback, a little known guy named Cooper Rush. So that's going to be good for them. And they let go of the other massage man, Mr. Tucker. But with that being all said, I give the Ravens an 89. If they would have got another key decent wide receiver, this would have definitely been an A plus for me, or in the A range. I put it at 89.
All right. Well, yeah, everything you said pretty nailed it. Did you say they brought D Hop? Did you already say that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah, I thought that's a brilliant move. We know, we don't think D Hop is still the number one killer that he was, but still bringing D Hop to pair with Bateman and
yeah.
Zay
And
Flowers
Flowers.
with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. It's a brilliant move for the offense. Yeah, mainly the re-signees are a great touch. I think offensive line wise, they did lose one of the guards with them again. Like
Yes.
last year, I had question marks with the offensive line. I won't question them too much just because as the season progressed, we saw the offensive line play much better together. So I'll give them the same benefit of the doubt that they'll do the same thing this year. But yeah, I give them actually not as high of a grade as you. I give them a B because they
Yeah, no,
didn't
for
do
sure,
much, but
man.
they didn't need to do much. So that's fair.
No, but just them doing what they did, I was just like surprised by
Yeah,
all means
especially yeah,
because
especially the draft, right?
the draft, man, that's what put me over the top for them. I'm like, you get Starks, and you get like honestly, Starks was a top 2 or 3 safety in this draft, and edge rusher wise, Green was a top 2 guy in my opinion.
Hmm.
So for him to go in the second round, because just strictly edge rushing, he's a monster. But he did play at a lower level school in Marshall, and he did have some issues off the field.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's why he fell.
Yeah,
Correct. Yeah, it was all because of that. So yeah, that was a whole nother conversation.
yeah,
Okay, AFC North in the books. Let's stick with AFC and let's do this together, Joe. AFC West. We'll start off with the team that finished last in the division last year, which had a decently good offseason, and it's a whole new team now. We got the Las Vegas Raiders. So
yeah.
as far as huge moves, I mean, well, it's just head coach.
Well,
Head coach.
Gino, I'm like, you get somewhat of a better upgrade at a quarterback
Oh, of
compared to what
course.
you had, Derek Carr,
Well, Derek
uh,
Carr hasn't been there for years, but yeah, go ahead.
Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, some of these guys that they've had at quarterback, Ritter, I don't even know how he's in the league, but
Hmm.
Geno Smith, he's going to sling that ball around. Brock Bowers, he had a out of this world rookie season. He beat records that were set by Chase just a couple seasons ago. You bring in Genty. Hopefully, that offensive line can be somewhat decent because what they're expecting for him to do is to break rookie records. We'll see about that. Pete Carroll, I feel like he's the right man for this job. I know he's up there in age by all means, but you need a guy who can weather the ship, a guy you're not expecting to lead this team to playoff victories right off the bat. Hopefully, he's around there for a couple seasons to kind of get this franchise on track.
Okay. Uh, I'll say, well, real quick, off topic. Do you, since you brought up Derek Carr, you would pick Geno Smith over, not like just career. Geno Smith's a better quarterback than Derek Carr. There's no way you think that.
I'll give it Derek Carr.
All right, then. I just want to appreciate. Just want to put that out there. Wait a minute. Then not Geno Smith. Anyways, of course, re-signing Max Crosby. That's a huge move for them. Needed move. I was actually confused. I didn't think that Max Crosby would resign, but he did. Money talks. Bringing over Raheem Mostert. I think that's a great move. Also, with Jeremy Chin being brought over there, I think that's a brilliant move. Now, I don't think their off season. It is going to depend on their first round pick. It's going to be okay. Well, they've been last ever since Josh Jacobs left. They've been terrible at running the ball. So I think obviously that should change. Their offensive line isn't terrible, but it's not good either. They bring over Alex Kappa. He wasn't good with Cincinnati. Will he be good with Las Vegas? I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, what grade were you thinking on the Las Vegas Raiders offseason?
I would give him a C plus, just for the fact that you're trying to improve a little bit, and like it's baby steps, but you could see that they're in the right direction.
Yeah, same thing. I give him the right direction. I give him a bit better grade. I give him a B, just because really the quarterback. I'm not a Geno guy, but Geno's a heck of a lot better than the quarterbacks that they have had in the last
Yeah.
2-3 years. So
No,
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
right direction for Las Vegas. Good offseason. It's showing promise for any Raiders fans that's out there. Where do you think we should go next?
We can go. The next three teams actually made the playoffs.
Right. That's why I was like, where do you think?
We can go to the other team in California
Okay.
or in LA.
Yes, sir. Let's do the Los Angeles Chargers offseason. Tell me how you felt about it. Talk to me.
The thing is, they get Amarian Hampton, running back, to pair up with Blake Corum. Or
Mm-hmm.
do they have the Chargers? I think, or is he with the Rams?
Blake Corum, no, he's with the Rams.
I don't know. I keep thinking he's with the Chargers for some reason.
So Chargers, they got Najee Harris.
Yeah. So they picked.
Mhm.
They picked. So what they did, they upgraded their running back room.
Sure. Yeah.
Then I think they re-picked up Mike Williams again,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to help the progression of Justin Herbert. Year two for Lad McConkey is going to be really key. But the thing with me is, how's that defense going to look now? You for some reason did not re-sign Asante Samuels Jr. You let Bosa walk. I don't even know Khalil Mack is still with the team, or he might
He is.
be.
He re-signed
But
for 1 year. Mm-hmm.
but that defense, like last year, it looked really good. This season, you let a lot of these guys walk, and it's kind of like the opposite of what they did. Like offensively, 2 years ago, they let all their stars walk, and they did okay. Now they're doing it to their defense and like trying to see what they have defensive wise. And me, I just don't understand it, man. I'm just like, just because you have Justin Herbert, that doesn't just mean like, oh, well, he's gonna right all your wrongs away and it's gonna be okay, you know.
Yeah,
So I would just,
defensively, it's confusing. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, with me, I would give him a C minus, just because defensively you lose a lot of stuff and they just didn't improve, or you didn't get another guy to go alongside Khalil Mack by any means.
Right. So I hear you, and you're right as far as I think the defense won't be as good. They were a top 3 scoring defense. I don't think
Yeah.
that's going to happen again. And we said it last year, if you remember, during the season. I said, well, the defense is sure it looked at the time it was a number 1 scoring defense, but anytime they played a playoff team, they would lose, and kind of easily at that point. So I hear the point on the defense portion of it. Uh, they brought back Elijah Molden as well. That's going to help at least the corner. Like, he ain't a top corner, but he's a body. The safety room is very good still. They got Alohi and Derwin James still there.
Yeah.
Again, the defense I'm not disagreeing with. I completely agree. I think offensively is where their mind was at. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
to run the ball with that offensive line, I think
right,
that's what they're going to
right.
look at. But
I think that's what
you,
the
you
whole
can't you
thing
can't
was.
leave your Ferrari in the garage. Pretty much, Justin Herbert's a Ferrari. You can't let him stay in the garage. You got to let him free.
I think they will bringing back Mike Williams and Jalen. I mean, Jalen Rager ain't gonna do much, but Tyler Conklin, that's gonna be a good pickup for them. Also, I think Lad McConkey is gonna take another step. He showed that he is people were sleeping on Lad McConkey. It could be just force fed, of course, but I don't think that. I think he is a underrated talent, even though it's early to say that. But as far as offseason, I side with you as far as a little bit, not all the way, but I gave them a C plus.
Yeah.
Because I do like what they did offensively. Najee Harris and then the rookie. That's you just upgraded it from J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. It's the same kind of backs, but upgraded. J.K. Dobbins, it depends. At least this guy should be more not injury prone. I'll say that, right? So that'll be it. I think their offense got better, but like you said, their defense most likely is going
took
to
a
take a
hit.
hit. Yeah, it's definitely going to take a hit. Let's go to who I believe are one of the winners of free agency, not the offseason.
Oh yeah,
Free
for
agency.
sure. I thought
Yeah,
you were
not
gonna say
Not
I
off
was like,
season.
damn, are you jumping the gun already? Like, oh, they're gonna win the division.
No. Ain't going. We'll see when that day comes. But the Denver Broncos, they started off hot, bringing
Way hot.
Hofanga over.
Kinlaw,
Bringing who?
the linebacker,
Greenlaw. I think you said
Greenlaw.
Oh, got you. No, I wasn't tripping. Bringing Greenlaw over. The defense was already going this way, and they
But
just continue to build on it. Go ahead.
and then they draft Jadad Barron. I thought he was the best cornerback in this draft.
Right on.
And then they also pick up Evan Ingram.
Mhm.
The thing with me, which I was wanting to see what they were going to do if they were going to get Bo Nix, a true wide receiver one with me.
Yeah.
Cortland, to me,
Mhm.
he's a wide receiver, low end
Yep.
one. So I was wondering to see if they were going to try to take a top end guy in the first round or try to get somebody with. So with me, I would give it an A minus. I would have gave it a A plus if they would have got him like a true weapon, like Evan Ingram, good tight end. But I was wanting him to get like a wide receiver one.
Yeah. I think of course anybody would want a young quarterback to get a true game changing wide receiver one. But Cortland Sutton last year showed that he still got it, especially in the red zone, especially as a deep threat, especially as a one-on-one guy. Cortland Sutton is getting up there in age, but he showed that, I still have it. Y'all thought about getting rid of me this year. That's not going to happen. I think Bo Nix really trusts Cortland Sutton. Anytime it was a 50-50 ball, he just gave it to Cortland Sutton. I think Troy Franklin will take a step in the right direction. Also, again, bringing over Evan Ingram, I think that's a fantastic move. The running back room is very interesting for me because I know they want to be a run heavy, screen heavy play. That's their play style for Sean Payton. So that's getting kind of interesting. But all of the moves as far as defensively, yeah, it lands for an A for me. Just an A.
No,
I
yeah, for
think the
sure.
team
Yeah, I
is going
just
to be
if they would have just picked up like another wide receiver, and you see, I would have put it at A plus.
all right. Now let's get into the dynasty that failed. I'm just kidding. All right, let's the Kansas City Chiefs. They try to become, the greatest dynasty of all time. Fell short. They still have time, but will it happen? I don't know. I don't think so. But hey, what do I know? But off-season wise, let's get on the off-season. I like with
So
their re-signees. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give them a C minus, man. I'm like
Oh,
they did not address the offensive line that got whooped in the Super Bowl by any means. I'm like they've drafted guys, hopefully to be the future. I'm like the guy that they drafted last year out of BYU didn't look too good. That's why he sat. I'm like you moved Joe Tooney out to left tackle. Now he's gone. You trade him away. I understand he's getting up there in age, and y'all probably were not going to resign him. I understand that, but with Joe, Pat Mahomes getting up there in age, he's not old by any means, but he every season he gets a little bit older. He can't move as well as he can. Travis Kelsey is getting older. You need guys up front to protect those guys to chip and help out with blocking, and they did not do that by any means. I'm like the defense is still good, but you're starting to lose a lot of these rotational guys that have
Mhm.
been key for them in the past. I think Willie Gay. I think he's no longer there. A couple of these other guys that have been there.
Yeah.
Uh, so you got to continue to hit on these draft picks, in which they have, but eventually it's going to wear out. Like all these guys, Kalafis, I think they picked up his 5th-year option, if I'm not mistaken. So it's getting there to that point where a lot of these guys that have been keys to this dynasty run are going to start saying, do I want to stay here for less money, or do I want to go get some money knowing that, hey, I already won a Super Bowl, so hey, I can go get more money now for myself. And until they make like a real effort for the offensive line, it's not going to look good. Like I feel like Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs are still going to be good by all means. He'll still win them games, but down the stretch in the playoffs, you need better offensive linemen to go at these better defensive line in the playoffs.
Right. I agree. I like them. Excuse me. Bringing over Jalen Moore. That was a good signing. Again, helping the tackle position.
Yeah.
Of course, re-signing Trey Smith is a huge thing. That's what I'm assuming they were able to allow Joe Tooney to walk. They're like, well, we got to prioritize the younger talent, which I get, like you said. I wouldn't go as far as that grade, just because, I mean, yes, offensive line is important, but the people that they kept is going to help. The defense, yes, is not going to take a huge hit. And the offense, I mean, the offense just got healthier with Rashee Rice coming
I'm like
back.
next year, Rashee Rice will be back, and then Hollywood Brown will be back as well. But the thing I just want to see is, do these young guys on this line take a step forward?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I
I
want
hope
to
so.
see.
I hope so. I give the Kansas City's offseason a B-.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
Simmons, if he was healthy, if I'm not mistaken, that was their pick in the first round, out of Ohio State. If he was healthy, man, he would have been a top 5 pick. But the thing is, he just hasn't been healthy in college. Offensive lineman, you don't want that stigma already to being hurt, especially in college already. But I'm like, the talent is there though.
Gotcha. All right. How about now we're done? AFC. AFC is out of the window. Choose from my big question mark this year. Now with the NFC, other than East, let's knock these bad boys out. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's start with the worst division in the world. Okay. And I'm gonna start with, yep. And I'm gonna start with the worst team in the world. I'm just kidding. Well,
your second favorite team.
Well, not anymore. Not anymore. So the New Orleans Saints, as far as acquisitions, they didn't get anybody, dude. Okay, they got some draft picks.
Everybody.
Their cap will be better next year. Fair enough. I give them that. So future wise, though, Kellen Moore, as long as they stick with him, he'll have time to really try to put some ingredients in this disgusting pot of whateverness. But Derek Carr retiring abruptly, that's not going to help the quarterback.
I'll pour it out real quick. Derek Carr.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it. That happening. The offensive line is okay. The defense is just getting older. That's not going to help anything. Nonetheless, again, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. New Orleans Saints is the only team this offseason I gave an F to. They get an F. They get an F. It's a terrible offseason. They did absolutely nothing. Some of it's out of their control. I don't care. They absolutely suck. Go ahead, Joe.
Nah, I agree with that. I'm like, they've been talking about possibly moving on from Chris Olave as well. So hopefully they do that and continue to tear it down completely and try to build this team up in another 5 years, maybe.
They might as well. What's your grade?
I would give it a D-.
You're nice, dude.
Yeah, I just gave it a little bit of a better nod because they're off the Derek Carr contract.
Sure, true. They both had a net positive with how that ended. So shout out to both of them. Get well soon. Just kidding. North Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers. Well, it's really just Carolina, right? It's not North Carolina anymore. Ain't that something? It used to be North Carolina, right?
Remember that song, Like a Helicopter?
Who is that from?
Petey Pablo.
You're bringing it back to, was that middle school?
Yeah. Get the white shirt out and start running around.
Okay, yeah. Well, at middle school, yeah, I bet you were, actually. I truly bet that. Now, Panthers off season, they did a lot. I give them that. They really tried to make this team less terrible on defense than they were the prior year. So for that, I give them a positive. For offensively, especially with the draft, let me ask you, did you like the wide receiver choice that they chose for the first round pick?
I was really high on T-Mac myself. I was screaming if he somehow got to 12. I was like, Cowboys, take your wide receiver 2. But he was already taken at 8. So Bryce Young, he's not that big of a dude, but T-Mac, he's like 6'4". He's a big guy. Just throw it up there. He'll try to catch it. Adam Thielen's back again. Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle now over there. Right. A good 1-2 tandem that is going to be slept on probably next season. that defense is good. It's just young and healthy. It needs to be healthy. Derek Brown next
Coming
season,
back. Yep.
if he's healthy, man, he is a top 5 D tackle in all of football.
Yep.
So I would give them a B minus.
Okay. Yeah, I gave Carolina a B plus. I like the acquisitions, just like you said.
Yeah, it all hinders on Bryce. I'm like, luckily he turned it around a little bit last season.
Yeah.
Towards the end, whenever he came back, hopefully he can continue to build on that because now I'm like, luckily CJ Stroud did not turn the league on fire yet again this past season. Hopefully he kind of came back down to earth. Hopefully, it starts to become more even next season for them too, where it doesn't look completely like the Panthers whiffed and the Texans look like the smartest teams in the world.
Yeah, I think eventually, no matter what, that's going to happen. I just
Oh,
think both careers, the way it's going to pan out, it's going to end up that way. But with Bryce Young, yeah, I think he showed, especially the last 3 games. I think he had 10 total touchdowns, 7 passing, 3 rushing, no interceptions and no fumbles. Good.
So check this out. Your Knicks were up 3, and Tyrese Halliburton hit a 3 to tie it up to go into overtime.
This guy, he keeps doing that, didn't he? Didn't he do that last series?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well,
what the hell?
yeah. But yeah, Carolina's going the right direction. They're showing that they're not dysfunctional as far as the moves that they've been making. Yeah,
I would not be surprised if they're fighting for second in this division next season.
I would be, but fair enough. I would be very surprised with the ticker. Come on, dude, get out of here. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Now let's go to the divisional winner, the back-to-back divisional winner, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Their offseason. Let me ask you, Joe, put this right back to you. The wide receiver, because a lot of people were very questioning. Okay, and you are too.
I was upset. I'm like, you have Evans and Godwin, and you
Kate
have
Otten.
McMillan.
Right.
So I'm just like, why do you go and pick up Iboka out of Ohio State? I'm just like, bro, what are y'all doing? Y'all do not need no more weapons offensively. I'm like, you even have Bucky Irvin as well, Kate Otten as your tight end. I'm like, get defensive minded players on that end. I'm like, Todd Bowles. I'm like, are you not the head coach? Can you go and be like, give me somebody defensively, please?
Mm-hmm.
And that with me, man, it was just C- for me because there's a lot of other needs, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Carlton Davis is there yet again. He's what's his name?
Jamal Dean.
Mm-hmm. Jamal Dean. Well, secondary wise, they need to pick it up, but their linebacking core is another year older. Levante David, that's his name.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Is another year older and stuff like that. So you need to start building that second line of defense and stuff. Vita Vea is still there. He's still a force. But other than that,
did you like Hassan Reddick pickup? I know we don't know, right? The last couple of years, it's just like,
the past couple of years after him playing around with Philly, like, oh, you're not gonna pay me, get rid of me, type thing. They got rid of him, and they didn't miss a beat. Their defense probably got better without him.
Right on. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hassan Reddick is a force, but yeah, that's actually very valid. Let me ask.
He's like on a garbage team in the NBA. He's gonna get you 25 points, but it doesn't win you any games.
Got you. Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you, because I have a respectable grade because I'm assuming the best of this. Because my issue at first with them is, okay, well, your offense got more stacked. Dope.
No, yeah.
That's good. Good for y'all. That's 100%. Baker Mayfield, I want him to succeed, so keep doing that. Now, when it comes to their defense, of course, Todd Bowles gets don't get me wrong, against young quarterbacks, he's very good. The blitz packages that he has are very good. But, I mean, last year against the pass, they were 29th. They weren't good. So I'm assuming, I'm like, okay, well, they have to get a corner. Jamal Dean, don't get me wrong, he was on and off. He was hurt. McCollum showed himself to be a good talent, but not a number one corner. Of course, Winfield Jr. was on and off the field. He was hurt as well. So that could have something to do with it. But just in case it didn't, I said, okay, well, they have to attack the secondary. The cornerbacks, Benjamin Morrison and Jacob Parrish. Okay, all right. Well, and because you gave me that response, at first I had Tampa Bay getting a B-. I'm giving them C+. Because I offensively, that's good. It's great, man. And especially in your division, that might win it. Fine.
Yeah.
But secondary was an issue, and you didn't fix that. So
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. That's what that means. All right, let's go to a
The
team that
Atlanta
everybody
Birds.
thought was going to win last year. Don't get me wrong, I was wrong too, but hey, everybody was wrong here.
The Dirty
The Atlanta
Birds.
Falcons, Dirty Birds. Off season, Michael Penix now is your starting quarterback. That's for sure now. It has nothing to really. That's not off season, but kind of is. At least you didn't get a quarterback again, like Kirk Cousins and him. So you have a new quarterback. Your wide receivers stay the same, tight ends stay the same, running backs stay the same. The defense, they moved up in the draft they got a good linebacker, and then they got a edge rusher. Was that warranted? And you knowing collegiate ball.
So James Pierce to me was a top 10 talent.
Mm-hmm.
Was he warranted of trading up and giving up a first round draft pick? I do not think so, because now you hinder your future for that. And I don't know if he's worth it. Hopefully so. I'm like, you do get 2 edge rushers, which you've been lacking for the past couple seasons. Like you had not had a real pass rush, in which they will give that to you, and that's what they're needing. Because I know what is the name out of the Patriots that is now in Atlanta, the DN that y'all let go over there.
Uche? Oh,
No,
Judon?
yeah, Matthew Judon. So he's over there too with those young guys. So hopefully that defense with Bates and AJ Terrell.
Well, right now Judon's not signed at all with anybody, but I believe he's a restricted free agent or something like that.
Oh, okay. So then
he could,
He's pretty much tied up with him for if you stand somewhere else, he helps out the team. But that defense to me is the thing, because offensively, I think Michael Penix is going to be okay. Hopefully Drake London continues to take another step.
Right.
And, you got Bijan, Algiers, that offensive line. They did lose their center. So that's a thing that they're going to have to look at. But I would give them a B-.
Okay. With Atlanta? Oh, wow. Yeah, you're gracious. I gave them a C-. I don't like the pass rush. Yes, I agree. And that's what they've needed for the last 2-3 years. And it seems like, but that's the question. It seems like they got it. Doesn't mean they'll have it.
Yeah,
because this rookie is promising. I agree with you though.
Two top 15 prospects out of this draft, which was a real deep defensive draft. To do that is really good. But the thing why I didn't give them a higher grade, if they were able to pull this off and only give up like a third round, kind of like what the Giants did when they drafted up to get Jackson Dart, I would have gave them a way higher grade. But giving up that first round pick was just like, like hopefully that doesn't come to bite y'all in the ass.
That's why I went with the C-. It's like you giving a first round pick. Like you said, hey, if you're right, it won't be. It will be like, oh, well, that was a smart decision. Good for y'all. Now you're NFC South champs. Cool. If that has something to do with it. But I just don't see it, at least as of right now. All right. NFC South trash can is gone. Let's go with the NFC West. And we'll start off with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Arizona, I think, as a offseason as a whole, Gannon finally, even though a lot of them are older, he has weapons to kind of do what he wants on that defensive line. Because, I mean, every time that the Arizona Cardinals have overachieved since Gannon's been there. Doesn't mean, like they won, 6 or 7 games when he first got there.
But you could see he has that locker room. You could see they're playing up for him. You could see like, all right, like we might not be the best team on this field, but that doesn't mean we're gonna just lie down.
100%.
You could see he's brought that Philadelphia moniker, Philadelphia swagger, or like, I don't know, like the way the people were in Philadelphia where they're not willing to back down from anybody. Right. And that's always good to see you fight for your coach.
Yeah, and he brings that because, again, his last 10 years, They overachieved with honestly the worst talent on defense both years. They did not have any talent. You couldn't name 3-4 players on the defense because they weren't good. But he made the defense fight, like you said. He made the offense. Well, he made the entire team fight. So that's a good sign for this Arizona team. With now having bringing over Josh Sweat on the edge rush, finally getting somebody that can rush the passer, and also when Josh Sweat had his two out of his three best years, it was under Jonathan Gannon as defensive coordinator for Philly. So him bringing over one of the guys that he knows works very well in his kind of scheme is going to be perfect. Bringing over Baron Browning, Dalvin Tomlinson, and of course re-signing Trey McBride excuse me. That's going to help the case. The main thing with this team is not really off season wise. It's going to come down to Kyler Murray's consistency. Last year, we saw the brother have games that were just spectacular. Like, yo, all right, this team's going to be really, really good. Remember, they went, what was it, like 6-2 or 6-3 for a little time period. And then, of course, fell off a little bit. They finished off 8-9, which, again, still was overachieving. But if him and Marvin Harrison Jr. can get it together, then this offseason, everything makes sense with the offseason. If not, we'll see. But the grade that I gave them was a B+, because I do like how they added pieces on this defensive line that was needed.
With me, I would give him a B-. A lot of it hinders on if Kyler Murray stays healthy, and does McBride continue to progress as the tight end that they need him to be. If he becomes a monster, which he was doing last season,
yeah,
they can compete and be a spoiler in this division.
100%. Their main thing was revamping the defensive front. And again, older pieces, but this is the most that Jonathan Gannon has had to work with. So I am looking forward to seeing how this defense actually plays together. All right. Arizona Cardinals, you are gone. And now let's talk about, come on, stop it. Stop playing. Where is it? Talk about a team that I think is getting a little overhyped. Seattle Seahawks. Offseason. Great. Now, with Seattle, they had a lot of moves. I mean, they brought over Cooper Kupp. They got rid of DK. They got rid of Tyler Lockett. They got rid of Geno. Brought over Sam Darnold. Brought over DeMarcus Lawrence. They did a lot this offseason. Now, Joe, I'll give this to you. I don't think any of that makes them better. I don't think got better.
I feel like they got a little bit worse to me.
All right. We're together on that one.
Yeah.
Receivers, I don't see how they got better. Quarterback, I don't get it.
With me, I'm a high JSN guy, though. Like, the thing with me, I'm like, in my opinion, I thought he was going to become the number one eventually, sooner rather than later. Okay. That was me. I was really high out of him when he came out of Ohio State. And, that's why they decided, DK, bye. Tyler Lockett, see ya. This is our guy now. But it's a big jump, though, going from 3 to 1.
The main thing with them is like, okay, I'm not a Geno guy. And I will give them devil's advocate. Sam Darnold last year had a better season than Geno Smith has ever had in his career.
He didn't have Jay Jettas, though, to throw to.
Sure. But, I mean, also what Geno had was one of the best trios of wide receivers.
No, what I mean? By all means. I'm like, nobody expected him to turn it on the way he did. And he made a career out of this, Geno.
Yeah, right. So I don't think – so I get that aspect of it, but that's, of course, 1 year. And like you said, that's with Jay Jettas. That's with Kevin O'Connell. It's different. I don't think that makes him that much better than Geno. I don't think if we did a top 15 quarterback list, not just off of 1 year, we would put Sam Darnold over Geno, because at least Geno has multiple years of success or fair play at least. I just, like you said earlier, I think this team will play better under another year of Mike McDonald for sure. I like his coaching style, I like the way his defense is played. I think his defense will be better, but I think the offense will be very inconsistent. And I think if it does become inconsistent, that can cause a lot of divide within the organization. It's like, well, we did all this. Hey, man, Sam Darnold laid 3 eggs. What are we doing? Or whatever the case may be. Oh, man, the Sam Darnold's getting rushed. We saw how that works out. That doesn't work out very well. But, yeah, as far as offseason grade, I gave Seattle a C+.
I gave it a C. I think it's a C minus.
Okay. Now let's talk about. Let's go to the West. Well, all of this is. I said let's go to the West Coast. All right, this is all West Coast. All right, Los Angeles Rams. I think their biggest move offseason, you tell me, was coming out with the deal with Matt Stafford.
Yeah, because for some reason they wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah,
I didn't.
What
I did
are you
not
gonna do?
understand that.
What are you
I was
gonna
like,
do?
bro, what are y'all doing? By all means, I'm like, y'all were literally a couple plays away from going to the NFC Championship game. Y'all gave the Eagles probably the best game out of every team in the playoffs.
Yep.
And y'all want to get rid of Matt Stafford? I was like, bro, to move up to 3 to possibly flirt with Shadur Sanders, I was like, no, do not do that. Or try to get, trade the 3rd pick and then let him sit and then get Aaron Rodgers. I was like, no, do not do that by any means. I'm like, this team is on the cusp possibly for competing for a Super Bowl.
Yep.
I'm like, finally they're getting picks, but they are willing and dealing and making moves, trading back, getting more picks, finding diamonds in the rough, Puka Nakua a couple seasons ago. Some of these guys that have been hitting for them are guys in 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds, which, salute to their GM, and I would give them A minus. I wouldn't give them an A plus. Devontae Adams, you pick him up. I'm like, he's an upgrade over Cooper Kupp, where Cooper Kupp was at.
Yep.
So to see Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams, probably a top 10 duo in all of football.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they mesh well. That offensive line is starting to turn it around. So hopefully it holds up for Matt Stafford. So A minus for me.
Yeah, that's the issue I have. Everything you said is 100% true. I was going to give, on my initial paper, I have it scratched out. I had the Los Angeles Rams having an A. Reason why I scratched it and put a B plus, I just went back a little bit, was just because the offensive line. Their offensive line came together last year, 100%, but they lost Jonah Jackson and Mekhi Becton this offseason. The only one that they kept, thankfully, because this would have been really bad, they were able to re-sign Alaric
Mekhi Becton was with the Eagles.
But that was in the middle of the season, right?
No, he was with the Eagles all last season. Yeah, Mekhi Becton, I believe, went to the Chargers.
No, yeah, but I'm saying it says departures. That's weird. Okay, well, Jonah Jackson. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Jonah
I know
Jackson
Jonah Jackson, but I'm like
Chicago. So, I think the offensive line. I'm not saying it's going to be an issue, but I don't think they got better there, and I think they should with the guy aging and Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's already old, but he has different years. Tom Brady got hit, but he ain't getting knocked the way Matt Stafford has been knocked. So I think overall grade, I give it a B plus. I think they're moving in the right direction. Devontae Adams and Puka Nakua is going to be a sight to see. And mainly, bringing back Matt Stafford is their big dub. Let's see. All right. Let's talk about the team that everybody hates right now for whatever reason. The San Francisco 49ers offseason. There is a huge division where people are saying you got to look between the lines, or they're saying they absolutely just wrecked their entire team. I think it's a little bit of both. I hate to play the fair side, but I think, okay, well, they had to make moves. They had to let a lot of guys go for their set. They re-signed George Kittle. They re-signed Brock Purdy. They re-signed Fred Warner. they got to let some of the other guys go. Are they that disposable? That time will tell. I think Hofanga is going to be a great talent that they let go. I think Greenlaw is a great talent that they let go, but he got hurt, so I understand that part. Uh, I think offseason, I like their draft picks. Well, the first guy I know.
Yeah, Georgia.
Yeah, I like the draft picks. I think mainly off season wise, I'll stick with the off season. I give them only a C plus. Now, again, when we talk about 49ers this upcoming season and predictions, don't take the C
No, yeah,
lightly.
for sure.
Yeah,
Because
there's
the core is still there, but me
yep,
too. Like I gave them a C minus just because Trent Williams is getting older.
yep,
By all means, I'm like that offensive line. It's one guy that you have. He cannot
that's
hold
it.
the whole line. Still,
Yeah,
I think he's like 37, 38 years old. You
yep.
got to build on that line, and they have not done that. I'm like, you have all these guys that you're paying, but somehow you only have one lineman that you're really paying. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. Them constantly not getting offensive line help. Yeah, baffles me. I don't get it, dude. I
I do
truly
not
don't.
get it at all either.
All right, NFC West is in the books. Let's go to the North.
Okay,
Let's
so
do
I had this division. So I guess I will start off with how I think this division's gonna finish next season, and I'm gonna start off with the Green Bay Packers.
gotcha.
Um, so right now, what I have them at is a 77 overall grade, so barely a C plus. Matthew Golden, hopefully he could be that wide receiver one that they've been desperately needing. Don't get me wrong, they have some of the deepest wide receiving cores in all of football, but that's good on paper. But there has not been a guy who's really taken off, and that's the thing that Jordan Love needs. I'm like they didn't do much in the offseason. You know, they resigned their special team coaches. Like if you're talking about special teams coaches are one of your biggest moves,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you had a big off season.
Right.
They signed Isaiah Simmons, so hopefully he could stick. I'm like when he came into the league out of Clemson, everybody was like, "This is what the NFL is going to be: this hybrid DN linebacker type thing." But you've been seeing a lot more, and it has been like that. And it's just what's going to happen as well with Jair Alexander. He does not want to be there no more, and he's a key piece for your defense. And with him healthy, and if he's in focus, and if he's on that team, he makes that team way, way, way 10 times better. But if he doesn't want to be there, that defense takes a big time hit. So that's why with me, I gave it a 77. You know, I could have went a little bit higher, but you know, your best defensive player possibly does not want to be there anymore. It's gonna kind of cause some eyebrows to be raised.
Agreed 100%. I gave it a C plus. Mainly positive that I got out of it was them finally drafting a wide receiver in the first round. Maybe that's good for him. Maybe. Don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but moving on, the team I think is going to finish third possibly is the Minnesota Vikings. Uh, you know, Van Giegel got his extension. They did pick up more former wide receiver out of Arizona and stuff. Hopefully he's healthy. So to pair up with Addison and Jay Jettas, that could be something to be key. They did lose a lot of guys in the secondary and stuff, but the one thing that last season, you know, they didn't have were key defensive guys on the front, and they pick up Jonathan Allen and they pick up Hargraves as well. They did pick up O line help, so I'd give this a 82, so a B minus.
okay. Where's mine? Minnesota. I gave them an A just because we talked off air.
Yeah,
I think they addressed the two biggest issues, which in the interior offensive line was bad, and they made it much better.
yeah,
Defensive line was stopping the run, especially in the middle, and that became much better. So
yeah. I think it all hinders on JJ. If JJ can come out and be good, you know, this grade can go up leaps and bounds by all means. But we do not know what JJ is by any means, so that's why I kind of had to give it a B minus. I'm like, maybe these moves are all on paper around for JJ, but right now we haven't seen them.
that's true. Like I said, I can't argue that because we haven't seen them, and we have from collegiate tape. I mean, he didn't throw much,
Ooh.
so again, it's a little rough.
So Milton, you're not gonna like this.
Here we go. Go ahead.
Indiana Pacers 138, New York Knicks 135, final and overtime. Indiana up one.
I don't care, dude. So go ahead.
You're like, I don't care. Show's
Go.
over.
Shows. I'm muting Joe. I'll take over. All right, hold on. All right, go ahead.
Okay, the next team I think will be the Chicago Bears, but they have the highest grade for me in this grading pool for this division. I grade them at a 88, so a high B plus. You get Joe Tooney, and then you also get Drew Alman to be your center. So the big things that coming in fix this whole line. Ben Johnson, their new head coach, was the key prize piece of the coaching uh, searches for the past couple seasons. Chicago gets him, and it's going to be crazy to see. They did pick up a lot of wide receivers when I was looking deep into this. Devin Duvernay or Miranda Sakitis. You draft Luther Burden in the second round. You draft another tight end in Colson Loveland out of Michigan. And you also do pick up Grady Jarrett as well and Jonah Jackson. So this offensive line is revamped. And, I almost wanted to give it an A plus to me, but you know
Mhm.
how I was left tackle wise. So that's why I give it like I'm almost there to A, but I just wanted a left tackle. But,
Yeah.
It is what it is.
You constantly been saying it, so you're consistent. I respect it. But yeah, you'll see this. You'll see this season. The left tackle is not the problem. Yes, sure if you could get a crazy name out there, of course. But
No,
I
yeah,
don't think
for
they
sure.
had the opportunity to get one that was better. So yeah, as far as the grade that I gave Chicago, I gave them an A plus. One of the best off seasons again this off season.
Yeah. And then the divisional winners the past couple seasons, the Detroit Lions, their biggest things this offseason, they lost both of their coordinators, man. Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson are not gone. They did keep in-house their coordinators and just elevated them. So it's going to be interesting moving forward because they also lost Carlton Davis, Kevin Zeitler. So two big pieces, one offensive, one defensive.
Mhm.
So hopefully they can pick up that offensive line. That offensive line has been key for their success in the years past. And they did pick up DJ Reed, so hopefully he can fill the Carlton Davis departure. So I would give it a 75. So barely a C plus.
Yeah, likewise. Gave him a C plus for the same exact reasons. I did like them bringing over DJ Reader. It's a decent.
No, yeah, for sure.
I like the move. Go ahead. Oh yeah,
Yeah, and that was it for the NFC North.
NFC North. Now let's move on
So the last
to,
division,
to the most championships. Wait, right? Is they?
the only division with every single team with 2 Super Bowls.
Does it have the most though, or no? I don't think so.
Cowboys at 5. I think Washington has 2 or 3, and then I know so 5, 8, 9, 11 probably.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe AFC North. No, 6 plus and 2 8. No, that wouldn't be it. NFC
6
West. NFC West maybe. It's on 2.
and then
Oh,
5,
NFC West maybe, and maybe NFC West.
2, 7, 8. No.
No, all right, fair enough. All right, I tried. Okay, let's go to the team that's good and had a very good offseason. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's getting a little quick
The
too
Commander.
hyped quickly. Don't get me wrong, I understand it. It's
No.
warranted, but yeah, well, there's a lot of there's high expectations now, and we'll
Yeah.
see if they meet it. I think their offseason was great. They got one of a top 3, top 5 pass blocking left tackle in Tunsil.
Yeah.
They upgraded their offensive line. They brought over Debo Samuel, which is going to help with the extra plays that they are able to do, especially depending on how the run game goes. I think they had a good offseason. It's just that's for another another show, but offseason wise, they had a good one. So I'm gonna be positive and give them a B plus.
Yeah, I would give him a B plus too. The thing, if they would have picked up another running back to put in that stable of backs that they have, kind of just be because Austin Eckler is more of the pass catching, Brian Robinson's the power, just somebody with a little bit of speed, and I thought it would have been A plus, but you really didn't lose anybody. You can continue to pick up guys, Debo and Tunsil. Hopefully they help get them over possibly.
Right on, Chase. I knew you had that one. Cowboy fans, you'll stay on the NFC East. Respect. Okay. All right. Next, we will go into. Don't worry, dude. I'll save the worst for last. I'm just kidding.
So the Giants.
Nope. Giants are next. All right. Let's go. New York Giants. Again, same thing. Go ahead.
Surprisingly not, man. I give them an A minus.
Good for you. Good.
Yeah. You pick up possibly the best player in the draft, Abdul Carter. You trade up, and you don't really give up much to get Jackson Dart. Hopefully, he is the guy.
Right.
We'll see with that, but to put with that defense, man, it's going to be nasty. Abdul Carter, Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns. I'm just like, bro, that's nasty.
Man. Yeah,
and Malik Neighbors and Wandell Robinson continue to grow. They are another year in this offense under Brian Dable. I'm like Russell Wilson, who knows what he can be possibly. But if Justin Thomas is healthy, this team's a lot better. Whenever he's not on the field for them, this offensive line and this offense weakens.
Oh, you said Andrew Thomas.
Oh, Andrew Thomas.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, I agree. When you see the difference, it's a huge difference.
Like when he got hurt, you could see
immediately. When Daniel Jones was behind him, you saw, oh man, Daniel Jones might be good. Boom, and then once he goes out, that was about it. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I'm glad you said that because I thought a lot of people that's NFC East fans, they'll just the funny thing is always to poop on the Giants. I think the Giants offseason, again, this doesn't mean they're going to be any good. Their offseason is A. I gave them an A for sure. A very good offseason. NFC East, hold on, let me put this up there. NFC East is scary this year. So we'll see. I don't know about that part. They all got better. I also don't know about that. But Chase, I'm glad you're here, brother. That's all. Let's move on. To the Super Bowl champions. The two-time Super Bowl champions. Philadelphia Eagles offseason. I think it was a sleeper because they lost some pieces, but they didn't.
I'm like, they lost a lot of rotational guys, and I was kind of surprised they traded away DJ Gardner-Johnson, which I was kind of surprised about that. But they did get Green, and I felt like that was a guy that they knew because Makai was probably going to leave in free agency. So I felt like it was a kind of a move like that. Like we have a lot of guys secondary-wise that are going to be able to fill the void, so we'll be okay. I would give them a B minus.
Okay, I gave them a B, so I'm not too far off. I like their draft pick.
You kept Zach Braun, and you didn't break the bank to keep him, and I was kind of happy about that to see. I'm like, okay, like that's really smart. Howie continues to be a generational GM. I don't know how he continues to do it.
The first round pick that they got, I heard that was like a steal, huh?
Yeah, out of Alabama.
Yeah. Okay, and now let's talk about your boys. Lastly, but not least, Cowboys offseason grade. Go ahead, Joe. Lead the way.
I actually give it a B plus. After the George, before it was like a C minus, but with the George Pickens move, everything that they had made before, I was wanting to see if they had made a move for wide receiver 2, and they did that. I'm like, all the other moves that they did was okay. This is why they did this. This is why, like Tyler Booker at first, I was like, why are they taking him kind of early? But then I looked at the tape. He's a physical kind of guy. They're trying to go back to that run defense. I'm like, they did pick up a bunch of running backs. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders. They did pick up Jaden Blue, who's a speedster. So hopefully all that together, you know, continues to be. Yeah, the defensive line Chase put a comment.
Good.
D line worries me. You know,
It should. It should, Chase. Don't listen to Joe. It should. Good.
it does to me, but what I've been telling you the past couple weeks, Milton, I feel like they're trying to think back to the when they were scoring all these points and then they just let their defensive line pin their ears back and try to get to the quarterback, and that's why I gave it that kind of an assessment.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I gave Dallas a C plus. I like the way you drafted. That was good. The edge rusher, and then of course the offensive lineman. The re-signing of Osa, good. I like the trade acquisition of Kenneth Murray. I think he's good. He ain't great anywhere, but he's all around good linebacker. George Pickens, of course, that's going to be a make or break for that offense to see if y'all are like quote unquote dysfunctional or geniuses. In my opinion, it just depends on how the season goes.
He looks like he's on his best behavior, bro. So I'm happy.
Well, it's the season hasn't played out. Yeah. Right now it looks good, and it should. But again, I just don't see how this defense will not have 200-yard.
I'm like their secondary improved, their linebacking improved. So the defensive line, we just gotta wait and see on that. That's our biggest flaw, and that's always gonna be our biggest flaw. So, you know, you have Azaraku that you drafted in the second round. You have Micah Parsons, you have Nealon, you have Sam Williams, you have Dante Fowler. You have plethora of pass rushers. You just need another guy to go up with Osa. If somebody can just be decent next to Osa,
Right.
I think they would be okay.
Yeah, I think like we said, we always do this, but pass rush, I have no problem. I think your pass rush is fine. It's just stopping the run has been the problem. I don't see how the problem has got solved, but that's what the season is for.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Better culture with these coaches. So Chase, we'll see. That's good, maybe, but remember, Matt Eberflus was not able to stop the run where he was. So we'll see. But anyways, good show, Joe. We're all done. And next week we'll start our Way Too Early series. I forgot what we're starting with. It's somewhere back here. But yeah, much appreciated. Chase, thank you for being here, brother. Much love, appreciation. Make sure you subscribe. If you don't subscribe, again.
How did you used to say it? You're dead to me. Oh,
Yeah,
you'll get on your
remember
mind.
that? Good time. Good time. Yeah, I don't feel like doing it, but I'll do it maybe another time. Joe, we're the People's Debate, and we are out.